Yo, what's going on, Steve?
Yo, hey, 1 second here. There we go. Okay, I had to put the main on. So yes, we're live. Oh, yeah, let me check it out real quick before I introduce us in here. I did put out the link. You want to come in, bring your own topic. I don't care what the hell you want to talk about tonight. Just talk about something. I got off work. I'm tired. I was gonna get something to eat, but I was like, you know what? I haven't streamed for a while, so screw it, man. People need to film me what's going on because I get home and oh my god, there's like this and that and people talking about this. I'm like, look, I haven't really been following any of this stuff, so yeah, it's all new to me. So I seriously haven't been catching up on the drama. Occasionally, I'll try to catch Aaron's channel, but that's pretty much it. Except for I do want to promote something real quick while I have the opportunity to do so. If you have not subscribed to go to Veda Snow, please do so. She is brand new kind of on the scene as far as YouTuber. I've known her for a while, yes, but I think she's like literally had her first video out and it is amazing. It is all about the Marvon McRae story. It is in detail from start to finish, basically what happened and how, Katie Joy hijacked it and basically her and Uniturd were basically setting up Letitia, and it is absolutely masterful. The editing is amazing. I think she's going to be amazing if she, continues that path and doesn't fall to the wayside like some other content creators did for some reason. They start off great and they have all the facts, and then all of a sudden they're like, facts be damned, right? Money's more important. And those are the content creators that I no longer have anything to do with. But anyways, I do have Amir in here. Amir, how you been, man?
Been busy.
With what?
How have you been, man?
Theological studies?
Not so much. Been mainly busy with work and trying to catch up on my reading with philosophy of science, and also Bayesian epistemology, or Bayes' rule, mainly recently.
Yeah, Bayes' epistemology seems to be taking off a little bit. There seems to be a little bit of interest in that. Oh, you got some background noise, by the way. It's not me.
Oh, sure.
I think it's because you don't have headphones on, do you?
No, I'm pretty much on my phone at the moment.
Yeah. It's better now. Whatever you did. Did you do something different?
I just muted the mic for a little bit, and then yeah.
Phones tend to do that, especially like Android phones. They tend to have an echo. I've noticed that over the years, and it has a little bit of echo, but it's not too bad. I don't know if the outside can hear it, but anyways, yeah. So yeah, you're doing Bayesian epistemology and philosophy of religion.
Right now, philosophy of
science. That's right.
Yeah, well, philosophy of religion, haven't paid too much attention to it lately because of, the usual. But also, philosophy of religion, the way it's approaching the subject, it's adopting from philosophy of science. That's where the trend is currently going. So, like, for example, Graham Oppy, particularly theory prior to commitment and theoretical virtues, and of course Richard Swinburne. Basically, philosophy of religion is going through, I guess, what Kuhns would note is a dose of chaos in that sense, and what's emerging out of that chaos is a renewed format or paradigm, particularly philosophy of religion. It's taking more on the role of what you see within philosophy of science.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of Oppy's theoretical virtues, how he appeals to them and how that would be justification for certain positions. I think it's very, very, very tenable as far as grounding for some type of reason why you hold a particular position, because it doesn't follow theoretical virtues, like simplicity. I wouldn't even say falsifiability even more as a theoretical virtue, but definitely simplicity is.
Oh yeah, well, actually, it's theoretical virtues is what I use to. It's theoretical virtues I use to refute Richard Carrier's minimal mythicist hypothesis.
What do you? Well, but normally don't you have to have testability? Because theoretical virtues are involved testability, consistency, simplicity, coherence, things of that nature.
W.V. Quinn, in I think it's The Web of Belief, he lays out, particularly with hypothesis, there are 5 virtues. But from what I've seen from Oppy, he appeals particularly to the first 3. Because
I think there's 12 actually. The last time I looked it up. Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Sorry.
Yeah, your phone is horrible. That's okay. Are you out and about?
No, I'm right. Wait, what'd you say?
Are you out and about?
No, I'm literally in my room.
Oh. So here we go. This is something I've seen a long time ago, called Systematizing the Theoretical Virtues by Keyes. He argues that evidential virtues have evidential accuracy, causal adequacy, explanatory depth, coherential virtues, which would be internally consistent, internally coherent, universal coherence, aesthetic virtues as beauty, simplicity, unification, diachronic virtues of durability, fruitfulness, and applicability. Those are pretty solid virtues.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I'm just familiar with the five of Quinn that laid out. Like conservatism, mean fewer prior commitments, and modesty, meaning what basically the assumptions of the hypothesis are what is more familiar with our experience or our background knowledge, and simplicity, and see what was the fourth
yeah,
one?
I would call that internal consistencies or
Yeah,
coherence. Yeah.
yeah, and that's what I use against Richard Carrier's hypothesis because in his book he lays out minimal mythicism and then minimal historicity. Minimal mythicism has more prior commitments than minimal historicity, and that's already a problem with the conservatism virtue. And the second, the commit, well, the commitments of the hypothesis, they don't really cohere well with our background knowledge and experience, especially when it comes to just human experience and etc. And simplicity, that's another problem for it because Richard Carrier, every single time, including like Godless Engineer, that adopt that approach, they have to posit more ad hoc adjustments to the hypothesis in order to explain the data that doesn't really go
Well,
well.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
agree. And I've asked Carrier, hey, look, man, if you just decide to take different priors, you're going to get different result for your Bayesian analysis. And I've never seen anybody else using Bayesian analysis for historical, ontology, I guess you could say, like somebody existing or not. I've never seen Bayesian approach to that besides Carrier. I think it's the first I've ever applied it that way. But
Well,
if you take different priors and you come up with 2/3 of chance that Christ did exist, I'm like, so it kind of balances out. So I don't see any advantageous reason to believe in mythicism. None.
well, there was a debate on Miss Vision. It was either this year or last year. It was between Godless Engineer and Camille Gregor, and Camille literally did a full Bayesian approach because Camille is basically a historicist, and he knows Bayes' theorem, and he knows Carrier's arguments, and he knows that Carrier does not give a prior probability for minimal mythicism.
Mm-hmm.
And well, another example he laid out of how minimal mythicism is the least simplest. There's a particular part in the Gospel of Mark where it mentions Simon of Cyrene and his sons. Carrier's book says, "Oh, this can only be interpreted this way, that it's talking about Alexander the Great and his military conquest and all this other stuff." Wait, what? Why is that more probable than just some guy that the community at that time knew and his sons? Like,
No
which is
idea. Yeah,
yeah.
I know nothing about the Bible. That's why I've never talked to Richard Carrier about the Bible. How he interprets the Bible is completely, his own thing because I have no interest in theology, no interest in the Bible. The more and more I even hear about the Bible, the more and more I realize I knew nothing about it to begin with, hardly. I mean, I've read it, but it just bores the ever-living shit out of me. And I find nothing redeemable in the Bible that would I have any interest in reading. It just bores me. I mean, the Book of Mormon, you know I was Mormon, so the Book of Mormon, I read 3 times, and, I was told, oh, the Book of Mormon will bring you closer to God than any other book. It has all these esoteric things in there, and you'll learn so much about God and Scripture and holy. I didn't learn fuck all. Yeah, it just so I hate reading that stuff. I just have no interest. So if somebody says, "Hey, the Bible says this," and it means this, I have no way to verify or not verify what it means because I don't know. I just have no interest.
Yeah, I get that. Well, particularly with when we're talking about like historicity, especially ancient history, it gets a little murky because we don't have a whole lot of sources from that period. What little sources we have, particularly with Jesus, is Paul's letters, which is our earliest source, particularly his authentic letters, and the earliest gospel, which is Mark. I guess you could say Mark is classified as bioi, or an ancient biography. Ancient biography is not exactly like biographies of modern day. Back then, biographies of people were a little more creative. They had a little more embellishment and myths built into them, or around the hero type.
The Rangarok thingy. What is it called?
Rank Raglan.
Yeah, Rank Raglan. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the rank Raglan rule that carrier posits has too many problems because it yields false positives, and carrier's going to have a hard time distinguishing Jesus as either a true rank Raglan or false positive.
Well, and he also changes the criteria for a lot of the rank Raglan too. He interprets the criteria very differently than some other people interpret the criterias.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he does, and that's the problem, because when you take Mark, which is our earliest gospel, and apply it to rank Raglan, the score is so low that Jesus doesn't qualify as a rank Raglan hero, and that causes a problem.
Yeah, it all depends on how. I mean, how many criteria are there? 20 or something?
I think 22, if I recall correctly. Yeah. It's been a minute since I looked into it.
Same here. So. Just real quick before you go on, hey, I just want to put a shout out to my moderator, Nikki38. She's about to go to sleep. However, if she would be so kind to drop in and say hi, well, that'd be just dandy. That'd be swell. That'd be awesome. Because I haven't talked to her forever. I'm sorry. I haven't been streaming as much as I usually do. I'm going to try to change that. I got some things I do want to talk about. I guess really good, interesting stuff that I've been thinking about, but I just don't want to do it tonight because I'm tired. I have Wednesday off. So I was going to stream on a subject on Wednesday dealing with existence and what makes us exist and what we think our existence is, because I've been doing some really deep thinking about that. But anyways, back to the whole Jesus mythicism thing. Yeah. So with the rank Raglan, I think Harry just kind of picks and chooses and cherry picks. I think that Bart Ehrman and other people have accused him of doing that. He really did that a lot with me when my debate with him, when I had a written debate with him. And he just basically kind of cherry picked out of the conversation, ignored everything that I was arguing, and just kind of went through rabbit holes versus rabbit holes, and did not want to argue what I was or counter argue what I was arguing, but kept on straw manning me, and it got to the point where it was really annoying. And I'm not the first that he's done that to by any stretch of imagination. So.
Well, Steve, that's because you've been influenced by theologians and apologists that run institutions.
Clearly, yes. I'm a massive theologian, aren't I? Like, I give a crap. I have two. Well, he did 2 blogs on me. He actually did 2 blogs on me, and I can't say they were favorable by any means. He got some things right, but I mean, I didn't even tell him, and he did say he would correct it, which he never did. But I was like, dude, this is not even what I believe. I was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's not what I'm arguing. I've never argued any such thing. And I don't get why people that do that to me. My arguments are pretty straightforward. Anybody that knows epistemology can read my arguments and go, yeah, I can see what Steve's saying. It's not that difficult. But I swear to God, every single person that argues against my arguments has strawman the ever-living shit out of them. And I'm like, that's never, where did I say that? What the hell you get that from? They're like, well, that's what, it seems to be you're implying. Well, I'm not. And I'm telling you that's not my argument, But anyways, Lawrence is out there, wants to join since Nikki isn't coming in, apparently. So.
Well, just a quick note. It's not just a rank Raglan hero that he posits to rectify his theory. It's also the hypothesis. It's also the auxiliary hypothesis of dying and rising gods.
Yes.
That he posits as well.
Yes.
The gods he's talking about, these are basically deities that are placed in an archaic age and time, not interacting with contemporary peoples that are documented. Jesus, on the other hand, is actually placed in a place and time and interacted with contemporaries that we do have verification actually existed, like Caiaphas, Pilate, John the Baptist. What else?
Well, I thought most of them didn't really. I thought most of the people that wrote the Bible didn't ever interact with Jesus.
Well, you can grant that just for argument's sake, but
I mean, there's a biblical. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
So there's a biblical scholar in the live chat, Lawrence, Milwaukee atheist, if he wants to join, but he's. Kawasa says, I don't think it's specifically against you, Steve, but rather the types you usually argue with have this problem where they are always just assuming some things automatically. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, it may not just be me, but I certainly see it more when, of course, it's my argument, and I know for a fact that they're straw manning me, right? When you are levying a charge of straw manning against somebody else's argument, you're at least assuming that you're getting their argument as well, correct as well, right? You might be even straw manning them, but I know they're straw manning me because I know my own argument, so... Nikki 38, come on in, join us.
Nikki,
Lawrence, yes. Come on in. Amir, talk, just talk her coming in, and Lawrence too.
But aside from the carrier thing, more recently I've also been tweet raging against James White peddling pseudoscience.
James White, is he a tulip Calvinist or something? What is he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Nikki.
Hi, how are you?
Are we getting a sister brother wife divorce? Because I haven't seen you in a while. Are you like leaving me for others and stuff like that, or what? I mean, what's the deal? I thought we had something special going on. You never do anything with me anymore, man. The love is lost. No, you've been busy, but
no, there's still love. I got love for you there, mister.
Okay, then why don't we ever do something?
Yeah,
I mean,
not really.
The whole month of October, we're
really
supposed to do a ghost stream. I could never get a hold of you.
I know.
Well, I want to talk ghost stories.
I don't know. I kind of went through a thing again, where it's kind of.
How many things do you get a year?
It must be. A lot. It'll disappear for a while.
You're only allowed a handful of things a year, okay? We all got things.
I know. I hate it. But it happens, I don't know. It just happens all the time. So now that winter's slowly approaching after Christmas, I usually have another thing. It's called SADS, seasonal affective disorder syndrome, which I think we all have a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
A little bit of each.
I get it.
But I'm going to try and fight it this year.
I'm already over it. I went through it. It was really faster this year. And I just you know what? I'm over it.
Yeah.
I hate the season, but
now.
Yeah.
I'm good now, but I missed October. I didn't go live as much as I wanted to go live every day. I missed the whole damn month. I was so mad at myself.
Yeah, I barely streamed in October as well.
Yeah.
But like I said, you go through that seasonal change, and I agree with you. I just hadn't been feeling like streaming.
Yeah.
But I'm getting out of that now. I've been thinking about certain things I want to stream about. I have a show on the 18th on the Non Sequitur Show, and you want to guess what it's about, because you're never going to guess what it's about.
No, I won't.
Yeah, you won't.
What is it?
Nobody's going to guess what it's about. I know, what's so funny? Even when I tell you who's in it, you're still not going to guess what it's about. It's Reg Rhetoric is joining, but you're still not going to guess what it's about because it's not on Flat Earth, believe it or not. It is. Here's going to be the question for the Non Sequitur Show. Should Reg Rhetoric become Christian? Again, he was actually Christian when I met him. I'm the one that actually talked him out of Christianity, believe it or not. Not many people know that. And it wasn't even my intent. I swear to God, I didn't go in like, oh, I'm going to talk this guy out of being Christian. It's just I met Reds a decade ago, and he was a Christian, and he started listening to some of my stuff, and we started talking. And he's like, I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't about that. Oh, yeah. And he just eventually lost belief, and now he thinks, most gods are BS. So, yeah. But yeah, so a guy named Master Apologist, Josh Brister, is going to convince him live on air that he should become a Christian again. That's going to be the show. What can go wrong?
What is Josh Brister's background? Nothing to do with.
John, okay, do you really want me to okay, I'm going to answer the question because you asked, and I'm being dead serious here. This is not for play. Josh Brister is a self-proclaimed master apologist, as the greatest orator, debater, skilled apologist in the history of mankind, and will take on any atheist on the planet to explain to them why atheism is false, the God does exist, and that everybody should be Christian. That's it. That's his platform. Yeah.
So basically, he's Darth Dawkins 2.0.
He's not as bad as Darth. I happen to like Josh Brister. I have no ill will toward Josh. We actually get along. He's been on the show a few times. He's just I don't want to say the word mentally unwell because that applies because he's a theist. He's mentally unwell, and I don't mean to do that. He knows he has some issues. This is to say that he's problematic, but in a way that But somebody asked, what is Reds now? Reds proclaims as agnostic, I think. I don't think he's actually an atheist. I found that out. I mean, it really kind of depends on his mood, I guess. But he'll vacillate maybe between atheism and agnosticism, I guess. But he's cocky as hell. Yeah, Josh is cocky. He look at okay. So I happen to know a few people, right? I've been around. So Josh wants me to arrange super technical debates with William Lane Craig. With him, or not William Craig, not William Craig. Well, yeah, he wanted to be, I think, with William Craig. He wants to debate Vosh. He wants to debate Graham Oppie. He wants to debate all the power hitters, right? And I'm like, you got a ways to go there, bro. You got a ways to go.
He's not a presuppositionalist, is he?
No, he's not a presupper. He just hasn't leveled up enough to go after Oppie. I think what's so funny. I've had people actually argue with Oppie that didn't know what the hell they're talking about, and it was just embarrassing. Because if you're going to go for a heavy hitter, look at I know the basics and stuff, but you think I'm going to debate William Lane Craig? I'd be out of your mind. I'd get demolished. I ain't stupid. I mean, I could take on Nikki or something, but
oh hell no.
Nikki's more my league, man. Let's debate something, Nikki. What do you want to debate? Pick a topic. Let's do it. Do ghosts exist?
Yes, I'm telling you, they do. They are kind of, just very extraordinary. I don't think I would ever believe in them if I hadn't seen one or been touched by one or heard one, even smelled one. You know what I mean?
No, hey, look, I got you. I've seen some shit. I felt some shit.
Yeah.
I've done some shit, but I've
been getting touched a lot lately, and it's
maybe I'll go cut down your drinking at bars.
I don't know. I've been getting
or maybe that's why you go to a drink. You go to a bar to drink.
I haven't been to a bar, Steve, in years.
Really? I've been heading out quite more often, and I've been meeting people and socializing.
I need that in my life. Yeah. I really do. I think that
got some digits. Got all 10 the last time. I was really impressed with myself. 10.
I got my own personal bar at home. I got beer, a mini cooler, and rum downstairs.
Yeah, but the women are at the bars, man. And I'm so happy though, because
so far away from me. So
usually you get 7 digits. You got to figure out the rest because women are mean. They're like, here's my number. Figure out the area code, and it's something like 519 or something.
Yeah.
You say they're trying every combination. Can I speak to? She don't live here. No, that's never actually happened to me. I'm kidding here, people. I've had some experiences. Like I said, I don't believe in ghosts, and that's why I wanted to talk about ghosts on your channel because I think it's your channel's more set up for that.
We'll do it there.
But
that just amazes me though that you still don't believe.
Yeah, well, I did at one time. Heavily. Oh shit, heavily. Yeah. I was absolutely convinced, but then I thought, and I just internalized monologue and thinking, so that even if I felt something, which I did, there's no question about that. I've seen some shit, but I can't attribute that to what people contribute, say is like a ghost, right? Because I have no idea what the fuck it was. People say, oh, here's what happened. We're going to call this a ghost. But all they're doing is giving something a label to an experience rather than saying these are the properties of a ghost. These met, specific properties. Therefore, it must be a ghost. But we have no idea what the hell a ghost would be.
No, that's the thing. You can't analyze what a ghost is. You can't do that because we don't know what it's made up of. We don't even know if it's real. We don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen it. That's why I believe it.
Yeah, well, I've seen something too many times. But have you? Do you believe it's a dead person?
I believe it's like an image of their former self.
Yeah, see, I can't
It's,
get there because I don't. No matter what I've seen,
well, they look real. For me, they look real.
well,
It's friggin' weird because they'll be there 1 minute and then gone the next. When something like that vanishes, when you
mhm.
blink, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Well, I mean,
Or walks into a tree. Like I had one, it was a man. He was walking across my front, like the front of my lawn, and there's a tree in the middle of it. He was on the road. So when he was going to go walk past this tree, would have seen him on the other side, right? Well, I didn't see that. I just saw him walk directly into a tree. I went outside. I didn't even move away from that spot. I don't know. I don't even know I was there. I think I was waiting for my sister or something. But yeah, he walked right into a tree instead of on the other side of the tree. It was
optical
really weird.
illusion.
I wish, but because it freaked me the hell out.
Yeah. Like I said,
It really
we're going to be
did.
talking about Ouija boards and other stuff in my lava lamp experience, and I had all kinds of stuff. I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to go on your channel. Although Pipeline Audio is like, this channel jumped to shark. We talk about all kinds of stuff on these
sorry.
things. We went from the mythicism of Christ from a mirror to ghosts with a Nikki, and then what everybody else wants to talk about when they jump in. That's just the way it works on the late night chats. Because again, on the whole discussion with the whole mythicism thing, where do you go with it? You know, I'm not a mythicist. I have no
Yeah.
interest in the Bible. You know, I don't believe in ghosts, but I can't say that I've not seen things. I can't say that I've not experienced things. But those experiences to me are not conclusive of something that what we would be calling a ghost as far of a dead person. It could be completely natural stuff. It's just I don't know what to call it. I don't know what happened, but like I said, when I go on Nikki's channel, which you so kind ever invite me on, I could tell my ghost stories.
Anytime. I don't have anything to do anymore. I've cut out the drama out of my channel, so now I just do whatever I want.
Good.
Which
See,
is
I've been
always
telling people
normal.
to do that. Yeah. See, I don't talk about
can't
any of
do
that
it anymore.
crap, man. I stopped doing that months ago, and
Yeah.
you know what? Even though my viewership has gone down to a fraction, I've
Yeah,
never
mine
been
too.
happier.
Big time.
Well, yeah, because
Same.
people want the drama.
Yeah, and I don't want it.
I
It's
don't-
too much.
yeah,
It's too
thank
hard
you.
on me.
Yes, it's not
Yeah.
worth it. Now,
Too much. It's
I-
no.
I'll do some commentary occasionally, you know, here and there. Like, you know, I'm not going to stop 100%, but I mean, I cannot
same.
consistently do like I've seen people do 2 or 3 hour streams a day on the same
Yeah, I
topic.
can't.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, have you noticed?
It's too much.
Have you noticed I've not done one stream, not one single stream on the Marvon McCready story? Nothing.
Yeah, me
Nothing.
neither. And
Nothing.
I just sorry. I did a short live, but it was for members only, and it was just me discussing if he had passed or not, and
Yeah.
was the article fake and whatnot. It was just talking about
The
that.
article is, I
But
think
that
the
was-
article's fake. I don't.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, the article.
I'm pretty sure I know who was behind it.
Yeah, those. It's so funny too because if you really want to dive into those
Mhm.
those sites where those articles are at,
Yeah.
I think I know who's kind of behind them as well, and I also think that a lot of them were putting up fake news when it came to the whole NK situation in UK.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Me too.
100%.
Because there's no records.
Yep. I know. I've reached the same.
Absolutely.
Look. I haven't even talked to you about this, and I've reached the same exact conclusion, obviously, as you have. And I've not
Yeah,
talked
me,
about
you,
this.
and Aaron are all on the same page.
I have not even talked to
Yeah.
Erin about it in probably 2 months. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
haven't
haven't had
either.
time to talk to Erin. I'm
just from what she's saying is what I mean.
yeah.
She's been saying, yeah, and what she said about that website, it was everything that I
Yep.
thought too.
Yep, and I thought the exact same thing, and I think Erin
Yeah,
kind of
a setup.
confirmed it.
Hmm.
And that's kind of funny because again, when you have people, here's the thing: when you're not group thinkers, when you actually have multiple people that independently look into things and come to the same conclusion, there might be a good reason for that, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, GGB says the audience you want doesn't want the drama. Exactly. What good
No,
does it
and
do?
they're great. Exactly.
Yeah.
We both share a lot of the same subs, and she's right. A lot of these people don't want this bullshit. They just want to, like, somebody had asked me today in someone else's live. They said, "Can you just do a live stream and we'll just, shoot the shit. We'll just chat." I was like, "That's what you guys want?" And a lot of them were like, "Yeah." And it wasn't even my
Mhm.
stream, so I'm like, "Okay, let's just do
Those
it
are my
then."
favorite
Like what you're
streams.
doing now.
Yeah, these are some of my favorite streams. I even
Yeah.
even October, I got off from work one night and I did a stream, and it ended up being freaking fantastic. It was just fun. It was
Yeah.
just enjoyable. And it still got some views, but even if it didn't, who the hell cares?
Exactly.
It's not. I've noticed the people that are getting. I still get about 1,000 a video, give or take, maybe 2,000 on a good video. But even still, the people that I notice getting 1,000, 2,000 views. they're just mostly bad videos that people just happen to hate watch. I mean, obviously, I'm not talking about Aaron or anything like that. I'm talking about on the other side when they get these types of
like creators on creators and stuff
it's
like that.
Exactly, and most people are watching them because they're realizing this is such crap. Because I mean, I was trying to digest some of that nonsense on the web stuff. She's out of her freaking mind. I don't know.
I can't. I tried. I'm with you. Nope.
Nonsense on the web. Something is wrong with that woman.
I agree.
And then there's Michelle Sabat, that or whatever her freaking name is. She's mentally insane.
That's another one.
So I mean, again, I didn't want to deal with any of that shit.
I haven't seen.
No, I watched each of them.
I'm sorry,
I haven't seen. I haven't seen either one of those two. Like, what is it that they?
Oh, let Nikki explain. Go ahead, Nikki. Go ahead. You have the floor. Explain first. Explain Michelle first, because that's easy to explain. She's just insane, and then explain the nonsense, but a little more complicated. Have at
it. Before you begin, Nikki, is this gonna give me a brain aneurysm?
It's possible. Wrap your head in duct tape.
Honestly, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna run, mouth or anything. Just basically this nonsense. It's a channel, and it's called Nonsense on Dat Web, like DA, and it kind of up a few months ago, and it really caters to Without a Crystal Ball, Katie Joy. And a lot of us are thinking, well, then obviously it's got to be, Katie or someone definitely involved with her camp, right?
It's definitely somebody
so
involved
all
with
this
her camp,
person does is bash Molly Golightly. Yeah, they bash Molly Golightly, Michelle Sabat, and it's all like, yay, we love Katie. That's weird because no one loves Katie.
No, right. That's what I'm saying. She has to be paid. The only way somebody ever say that they love Katie is if they're getting paid for it or in a massive drugs and massive drugs.
Okay, Joy. Well,
and then Michelle comes in. That channel is it's a drama channel. That's all they do is talk about other creators or other subscribers, and they just bash them. They think they have proof when they actually don't, and they say a whole bunch of lies and then stretch the truth, and it's just a whole lot of drama that you don't want. Trust me. And then this other woman.
Yeah. In other words, it's basically just a YouTube channel of nonstop gaslighting.
Oh yeah. Oh, massive gaslighting.
Exactly. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's bizarre how much.
Then there's this woman named Michelle Sabat.
Yeah.
Oh, this woman is mentally unwell. And I don't mean that in a mean way at all. I'm serious. I believe that she's mentally unwell. She is an alcoholic. She goes on her streams live every day for hours. I'm talking 6 to 10 hours. It's crazy. I've seen her on there 4 hours, 6 hours. Then there was 8 hours? Just drinking hours. And talking.
Yeah. She literally, what happened?
And she gets people in her comments. I was just going to say, she gets people in her comments on her lives that are, I don't know, like calling her out. They make fun of her. They're kind of like yelling and screaming. They're trying to get her going to get a reaction. It's disgusting. This woman needs help. Yeah. She shouldn't be on YouTube.
And there's people taking advantage of her, but there are also people like, she's been grifting like amazing amounts of money. I mean, like thousands of dollars from people. For what? I have no idea. I mean, she just all she does is, I guess she gets paid basically to drink online, take massive amount of prescription drugs, act like a fool, and people are entertained for it. Therefore, they give her money. Yeah. That seems to be what it is in a nutshell.
She wasn't monetized though. I guess she's having a hard time getting monetized. They just won't monetize her, and she's got over 1,000 subs.
Well, but to show other ways to get money. I mean,
I keep checking. I haven't checked in a while.
Yeah, she's
she's getting PayPal and all that stuff. I mean, it's weird that she's not monetized.
Yeah, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't YouTube have like policies of in regards to demonetizing if certain content's inappropriate, like getting?
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is, YouTube never follows their own. TOS hardly, I find.
You can get drunk or high, I think. I don't know. I used to have drunk streams, but she makes a little profit on it, because I think what happened, like I said, I'm just fixing the chat right now, so test. Oops. So I think what happened was she came on the scene, right, and people were like paying attention to her because for some reason she was going after Molly Golightly, who I have very little to do with. I mean, I get along with Molly, I guess. I mean, I've never really.
It seemed obsessive.
Yeah, I've never spoken to the woman directly, believe it or not, except for a live chat. I've talked to, and well, I don't know, I haven't even talked to Justin either, really. Now I think about it, but yeah, I got nothing against them, but it's just not really my cup of tea. But for some reason, Molly has a hate following, and so this Michelle was basically catering to that hate following, and people started throwing her money to go after Molly, and she just got enamored by that and said, "Oh shit, I can make several $100s going after Molly." And then it came to the point it was mind-boggling how demented she became about Molly. I mean, it was like almost sycophant level. And then all these other people just kind of joined in and enabling her.
That was her number one fan.
Yeah,
it was bad, really bad.
So I just stayed out of that whole thing. I was like, this woman is psychotic. I don't want her going after me. I got enough psychotic people.
Same. I'm not doing any live streams. No way.
Nope.
No way. I'm not touching that. Nope.
This is about the most I've said on it.
Not at all.
I'm of the persuasion that this whole pandemic has made people more psychotic. So.
Well, I think so too. I mean, they're not used to that. I mean, you gotta remember, man. You know, most of us remember how life used to be back in the 70s and the 80s and even the 90s. And then now you have people that were born in 2000 that, you know, they were just turning 21, weren't able to even go out and go to get a drink, and they were cooped up for like a year and a half or something like that and did not know how to fucking deal with it. But we remember what life was like. Yeah. And I can tell you right now, life right now is not the same it was 30 years ago. Things have changed dramatically. It changed the face of everything. I mean, prices are higher now. People are just acting different.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, 30 years ago, I would have been 8. Just different.
Yeah. I mean, I was born in the late 80s, and my childhood was mainly in the 90s. 90s were simpler times for me. Now it's like I'm not walking out of this house without a knife.
Oh, I got my knife. Yeah, I carry a fixed knife. Well, it's not fixed blade. I'm sorry. It's a fixed blade, but it's what do they call it? Jesus Christ. It's not ballistic and it's not spring loaded, but you still have to it's a folding knife. It's a fixed folding knife. So you can flip it out, but there's no assistance to it. So it's perfectly legal to carry either concealed or not concealed. It's got like a 3.5 inch blade. I carry that, pepper spray, and then a very high intensity flashlight. Those are my my safety things when I'm doing loss prevention. So, because I got to walk home at night, man. You know, somebody said the deep dive on Michelle is like shit. I thought KD Joy was bad. No, there's no comparison between Michelle and KD Joy. Michelle is just just insane in her own way off prescription drugs. But I mean, KD Joy is evil. I mean, evil incarnate. She is the most despicable person I've ever in my entire life ran across.
She is,
without question. I mean, her and Union Rock. There's a toss. There's a toss up there, obviously.
Would you say she's borderline personality, or
no? She's full on. In my opinion, narcissistic personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and sociopath. Absolutely, without question. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's evil. She gets as sadism. She gets off harming people. That is her narcissistic supply.
She does.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's no. I would love to find one freaking person that I have never talked to before that thinks otherwise, and that thinks that KD Joy is some wonderful human being. I would love to have a discussion with that person. Matter of fact, Nikki Nonsense had said one time. She said, well, I know Steve is listening to my channel or something, but if Steve's listening, if he wants to reach out to me, I'll have a conversation with him. Then the next day, I reached out to her. She ran like a coward. She was like, oh no, well, I heard this. I'm just not even interested in having a discussion with you. I'm like, yeah, because I'd whip you. I would freaking destroy you on KD Joy. Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it, man. Yeah. And it's so funny because, like I said, I never had this conversation with her before. So I was like, okay, you think you want to talk about KD? Okay, come on, Nonsense. No, but she chickened out. She knew she could. She knew she had nothing. Away. Of course she did. Do you think that she would survive in a one-on-one discussion with me when talking about the virtues of KD Joy?
No.
Come on. I have all the evidence.
No, you have too many. You have too many facts. Yeah. There's no way. I wonder why she cowered.
Yeah, I would like to see her and Veda go after that. Have you watched Veda's new video? Veda Snow?
Yeah, it was good, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
What is she forgot to answer what she used for her video software, though, because
Yeah, she did really good.
Right. What
really
did she
good.
use,
She
though?
I'm not sure. I haven't asked her. But she messaged me and then
I asked her,
messaged me
but
on
she
Twitter
didn't.
as well.
She didn't tell me. Yeah. I wanna
Oh,
know.
I'll have to ask her. No, she did amazing. She's been wanting to start a channel
Mhm.
and she finally got it done.
Yep.
Yeah, she did good.
Have you guys subscribed
Way
to her
better
yet?
than my work. Hell yeah.
Way better than my work. Yeah. If you have not subscribed to Veda, go to the description in the video channel.
Here, I'll find it. Put it in chat.
Yeah, put it in chat, would you? I have it in my video description, but yeah, go subscribe to. She only had like 33 subs the other day. She should have well over a couple hundred.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, somebody said Michelle is lonely and sick, and you're probably right. And again, I'm not going to dog on Michelle because I do think she is mentally unwell, and I have a standing thing. If somebody is mentally unwell, and is it's not somebody who's not stupid by choice, I'm not really going to go after them much, right? Somebody who's stupid by choice, if you're a flat earther and you choose to be a flat earther because you're just stupid by choice, then I'm going to have some fun with you. But I just can't sit there and mock Michelle because I think she's so mentally unwell that I would be feeling like I would be like kicking puppies. I couldn't do that.
Exactly. That's why I won't touch it. Like I don't want to make fun of her, but I also don't want to try and help her either because as far as I'm concerned, from what I've seen, she doesn't want the help.
Yeah. No, and you're not her savior.
Even comfort her or anything. I'm not, and I got to stop doing that because the more I do that, I end up getting hurt and things just go sideways.
Yeah,
so I need to
pick your battles better because she's not
stay in my lane.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go and try and help this woman.
Good.
No.
Good.
No,
she doesn't need help.
And
helping
if I did
her.
a video on her,
What's that? What's that?
No, I was just saying if I did a video on her, then it would go against everything that I'm against.
Right. Yeah.
So no, I would never.
It'd be like kicking puppies. Yeah. I mean, again, helping her is something that just she wouldn't be appreciative of it. She feels entitled now. Like people should buy her stuff and fulfill her Amazon wish list, like an entitlement, like you've been putting out. I mean, most of us have been putting out content that people at least listen to, and even I felt guilty. When people were like, "Hey, put out a wish list," and I did, and I got some little knick-knack items, and but I felt guilty. I was like, I don't need this. But they're like, it's not a need, it's a want. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't do things for what I want. I survive on things that I need. So there's a difference.
We both, I bet, have been yelled at for that. I know I have been. And it's like, put the damn wish list up. We're allowed. That's what it's for. We're allowed to buy you things and blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but would you do that? Do you know so weird? And they're like, no. Who cares?
I get it. I bought things on people's wish lists. I bought people's stuff before. I mean, I spent $200 on a freaking charger for somebody that they needed it. But they needed it. But I mean, I don't mind doing that stuff. I give back. I just don't freaking do what Katie Joy does and go, oh, look, I bought a $70,000 vehicle. Like I said, I bought $100 Chromebook
I saw that.
It's ridiculous, right?
Lawsuit.
Yeah. $1 million lawsuit buys a $70,000 vehicle. I literally I'm so frugal that I splurged because I got a good deal on it, a really good deal on it, on a $100 Chromebook. People know Chromebook uses Chrome OS. It's not like super.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's what I want to get. How the hell do you get $100 for one?
Because I got one of those 3-day cyber deal things for Black Friday that's in advanced. Yeah.
Shit, I need one. Because this computer that I'm on right now sucks.
It's a Celeron processor, right? It's not like it's for high end stuff, but all I want is literally for email, Twitter, Facebook, and there's word processing. That's pretty much it. I don't care about gaming. I don't need any multifunctional stuff. And I was like, for $100, this is perfect. It's small. It's 11.6 inch monitor, so it's not like a high resolution monitor, but it also fits on my desk right next to my other monitors, and I could like watch the feeds. And so it's like a little external monitor that I have. So $100, I couldn't go wrong because they usually retail a minimum 140. I've seen them as high as 280. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to splurge and get something for myself. It's not a need. It is a want. I haven't bought any wants this year. I'm going to, and so I spent $100. Didn't go around bragging about it because it's a freaking Chrome OS that I'm going to probably end up putting Linux on anyways, at least as a dual boot. And she was like, oh, I bought a $70,000 car. And I'm like, God, you are so freaking materialistic.
Yeah, right.
Linux or Kali Linux?
I don't like Kali Linux. I've used it before. I'm going to put in either Cinnamon, Mint, or ACFC. It was what's the other version of Mint? The not Cinnamon, the other version.
Ubuntu?
No, Ubuntu's not the same as Mint. No,
Oh,
the distro. What is it? I can't remember the name of it. There's three main distros from Mint.
I think the other one's Parrot. Well, not. I don't know if it's of the same variety, but the other one I'm familiar with is I think it's called Parrot. I'm not sure though.
No, I'm talking about the interface. I'm talking about they're all three Mint, but one's Cinnamon, one is I think it's like a GNOME version, and then there's XCF or XFCE. That's what it is. XFCE is the version that I'm looking at. It's very lightweight.
Yeah, GNOME and another one.
GNOME KDE. Thank you, Chris. No, so there's GNOME KDE. There's Mint, and then there's XFCE, which is a very, very scaled down version. But since I want something light and portable, XFCE is really all I really need. Although I have used Cinnamon, and I liked Cinnamon on my old laptop. It's a very, very good distro, like to say the least. So, but I'm also going to use the OS that comes with it, which is Chrome OS using Microsoft S. But again, I didn't need anything spectacular, Nikki. For $100, I was like, this is exactly what I want. Yeah. You know, do I need to spend $2,000 on a laptop?
Back to using my laptop.
Well, yeah. What is your laptop? What is it? Is it Intel?
I end up having to go back to my laptop. It's like 12 years old. It just uses Windows and Microsoft, and it's I don't even know what the hell brand it is. An Acer.
Acer's hit or miss, but I mean, I'm okay with Acer.
Does it still run well, or is it kind of laggy?
Yeah.
Is it laggy? That just sounds like it's laggy. Because are you on the laptop now, Nikki? Well, that answers that question.
No, I'm on that shitty computer.
Oh, you're on your which shitty computer?
Oh,
are you on your laptop?
Yeah, I'm on my shitty computer.
Okay.
No, this is the computer. I have a laptop and a computer. The computer's new that I got from my mother, but it doesn't work. So I'm sticking with my 12-year-old one.
Yeah, a lot of people like the GNOME KDE. And KDE is good too. Like I said, I all of them kind of are very, very similar. It's just basically how much versatility do you want on your Linux build. So. But yeah, if you got an 11-year-old computer, even a Chromebook would probably be a little more powerful than that. I mean, they're not, like I said, they're not high end by any means, but it all depends on what you want to do. I wouldn't recommend it for streaming, but is that what you want the laptop for? Is streaming? Nikki?
Yeah, but the one, like I said, the one I have that's 12 years old, it works great. So I mean, when I get the money, I will invest in a good one.
Yeah,
but I'm good for now. It's not broken or anything.
Yeah, mine was broken. Mine literally failed. The hard drive failed, and I was like, I'm done.
Also, you may want to get one that has either 1 or 2 terabytes as well for more memory.
You mean a hard drive space?
Yeah.
1 or 2 terabytes?
1 terabyte is a lot of space. I have a terabyte on my main computer, and even then, I haven't filled it all up.
Well. Yeah, because the current laptop I'm literally on right now, it only has 500 gigabytes for a call.
Well, that's fine. What does Nikki mean with more than 500 gigabytes? What is she going to put on that's 500 gigabyte?
Well, just as extra memory storage, just as a precaution.
That's not memory storage. That's hard drive storage. What is she going to put on there? She has that many photos?
Maybe. This is how out of touch with computers I am.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of hard drive space, man.
Just to give it, because I'm trying to study like cybersecurity and all that, and I don't want to use this particular laptop for that venture. I had to buy another one with more memory, more hard drive space, and also. Because need a laptop that's drivers that are up to date and more secure.
Yeah, and that's what I like about Chromebook. Chromebook has really good extra security. I mean, Nikki's not going to do her OnlyFans, unfortunately, I guess, so she doesn't need hard drive space.
Maybe you should start doing feet pics.
Well, that's all it is in
Probably
Canada. Yeah, Canada. In Canada, OnlyFans is basically a bunch of people apologizing to each other, getting off on it. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's basically it. You know, someone's gonna clip that motherfucker shit right there too. Look at Steve, man. Look at Steve. Steve's gonna hang out with Nikki, Amir, and Brandon.
Oh my god.
Do you guys heard about that whole? Hey, Brandon, the whole when I was in a hangout with Renell and Aaron, and I don't know exactly even what was talking about. I don't remember, but Uni Turd was just like, oh look, Steve's jerking the gurky to freaking Aaron and Renell on stream. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, are you up? Why is it seriously? I haven't talked about this much, but why? I mean, please, for the love of God, tell me what the hell is this guy's fascination with my dick and my social life? I don't get it. I've never had a guy this interested in my life. And I've had gay guys hit on me frequently, but I've never in my life had a dude so interested in my sex life in my entire freaking life. And I don't understand it. It's creepy. It's weird. It's bizarre.
Me neither.
He fantasizes about me continually, and I just don't get it. Because I don't think about him at all.
Rejected him.
Because I rejected him. Because I rejected him. Yeah, I don't think about him at all.
You're
so it's just
playing
like,
him.
right? I mean, geez,
You're
dude.
playing games with his heart.
But Nikki, think about it. If I was a chick, how much more creepy would it be if I was like, hey, hey, Nikki is like, diddling herself on a hangout with a couple guys. It'd be like, what the fuck? That's just like weird. I mean, so I mean, I don't know. I just think to myself, this dude,
Yeah.
for that to come to his mind is just bizarre to me. No rational fucking person thinks this way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And what's worse, it had
Janelle did a video too, and this
Right.
was recent, and she talked about that, and then she said, I can't, who the hell else was it? Somebody else had made a video. So when I was like, why don't you accuse them of doing porn or watching porn while they were live streaming? It was the video, it was Uni's video, and he was listening to something. It was the rabbit hole, the rabbit holes channel that he was watching.
Yeah.
And he did live on it, and she was interviewing. Yeah, she was interviewing the cousin of I guess the Adventures with Purpose, one of the victims.
Yeah,
It was
I
cousin
heard
of the victims
something
as
like
a
that.
female, and somebody was whispering in the background, and it sounded like a guy, and Uni had freaked out about it.
Yeah, I heard that clip.
And then so I was like, well, why didn't he say it sounded like they were jerking off to porn? Because she said, but no, only when it comes to Steve.
Right? Right?
It was like,
Because obviously, Aaron and
you got a good
Renell.
point, though.
I mean, no disrespect to Aaron and Renell by any means, but I mean, I wouldn't be doing it online with them. that would be stuff done, offline kind of stuff.
I was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff that's reserved.
Yeah, I can safely say that never fucking happened, to say the least. But my thing was the fact that for him to come up with that shows how just sick he really is, So whatever. I don't even care. Like I said,
It is really bad. Actually, I think it was EKC that's not Renell.
I was more offended for
Yeah, it's
Renell.
gross.
Renell,
He him and Menace. I don't know who's more obsessed, him or Menace. Well, obviously both.
yeah, both.
Menace is all over your shit. Holy.
I have not even heard. I don't think I've heard his name in 2 months. Thanks. Yeah, I have not heard nobody talk about Menace. So,
Sorry.
is he still around? He's still jerking to me or something?
I don't know. I haven't blocked.
Oh. No, last thing
I don't know. I haven't blocked and everything, so I don't
so
see
do
what
I.
he says.
Yeah, no. The last thing I heard, which was some other people bring. Well, some other people were bringing it up, and I guess it was from Menace or something. But it just, again, I already talked about it. They were too stupid to figure out that, yes, I worked on a distilling unit that was in the #1 engine room for the M1 division, which because the distilling unit uses steam, and steam comes off the reactor power, and so if you have anything to do with reactor power, you have to be a qualified nuke to operate it because it's reactor safety. So he kind of failed to recognize that you have to be a nuke to even do the distilling unit because it happens to run off steam, which affects reactor power. And he's like, "Oh, Steve was just a glorified distilling unit operator." I'm like, "Yeah, I went through 2 years of nuke school just to run a distilling unit." Okay.
It sounds legit.
Yeah.
I was like, God, these people are dumb. I mean, it's straight up stupid. But how do you explain something so complicated? Because I mean, I'm not going to sit there and explain physics to somebody who's a moron, right? He's not going to understand the density of water affects neutron transport, which means that you have more fissions because you have a dense medium of your moderator, which means you're going to have more thermal energy in your system, causing more water to be turning to steam, increasing steam demand, and then changing reactor power because of it. Because that would require, maybe a little bit of understanding of fluid theory and thermodynamics, which I know he doesn't have. But it's just, Steve's talking about being a Stirling unit plan. He wasn't a real nuke. Okay, you dumbass. Oh my God, I find that stuff to be hilarious. How dumb these people are that they don't even know how stupid they are.
To tell me you don't know nuclear physics without telling me you don't know anything.
Right. I mean, I'll be happy to. Be happy to have if Menace ever explained how a transit would affect reactor power from T hot to T cold on your moderator, I would be like, yeah, go for it. I would love to hear that babble, because he would have absolutely no idea how the thermodynamics works. So yeah, that was the last thing I heard. That I guess he started that.
I need to get my ass to bed.
You need to get your ass to bed.
I need to get my
but it's you're,
to bed.
But you're on a Canadian time.
2 o'clock in the morning.
That's Canadian
it's
time.
2 o'clock in the morning.
All right. Well, thank you. And I tell you what,
it's 2 in the morning.
I'm off Wednesday. If you want to do a ghost hangout, I'm cool with that. Want to do a ghost hangout on Wednesday?
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
Yes.
Set it up.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else planned Wednesday, so just
all right. I will. I'll send you.
Make it late your night, like 9 your time or something is perfect. If that's not too late. What do you want to do earlier?
Yep. Oh shit! Is today Monday? Oh my God! I had a live to do tonight. Oops. Fuck.
See, I don't.
Wait, Nikki, are you on? On EST or
live tonight?
She's on EST.
Oh,
she's one of them Easterners.
Eastern time.
Technically, it's now Tuesday. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything planned for the night.
Yes.
So.
Oh my God, I feel like sick. Oh.
All right, go to sleep. Get some rest. I'll reach out to you tomorrow.
All right, I better go. I have to fix that now.
Good night, Nikki.
All right.
Night, Nikki.
So, anyway, so that happened. Yeah. So, I guess, like I said, for some reason people are really interested in my sex life. I'm not adding. Should I add? Am I going to add this person? Should I add this person? What do you think?
Who is it?
Mr. Sock. Mr. Sock.
Mr. Sock.
Yes, Mr. Sock.
Hello.
Whose sock are you?
What do you mean?
Well, who's sock? Because I got to make sure that I got to know who's on the panel.
Need the name.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Mr. Sock. Would you like to discuss something, Mr. Sock?
What's that?
Would you like to discuss something?
Oh yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who you are, so I have to know who you are if you want to be on the panel.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Sock.
Yeah. Sorry, not going to cut it.
What?
Yeah, I know, man. Nothing personal. You could be anybody. And then they come on the panel, and then they try to shut the feed down.
No.
Yeah. Have you been on here before?
No.
Do you know who I am? That came out.
Yeah.
That came out totally wrong. Do you know who I am? Oh, no. How do you know me?
Through another sock.
Oh, so you have a lot of stock accounts. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it tonight, man. Are you a fan or your foe? Not fan. Even if you're a foe, I'm not going to necessarily kick you. I just want to know what is it you just don't like. Do I know you under a different name? No, I've never talked to you before.
Oh.
Yeah. So what's my channel about?
Stuff.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's halfway there. I mean, you're not wrong. What kind of stuff?
Roblox.
Close. Yeah. I mean, I mean, well, not even near. But do you know your sock looks like a whale shark trying to feed?
Yeah.
I've been told that.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. No, that's not.
I need,
I don't do Roblox. I don't do Minecraft either. Believe it or not. Although I know how to do Minecraft. Yeah. No, I do.
Yeah.
I do like philosophy stuff and science stuff and. I don't know.
ooh,
What do I do?
interesting.
What do I do, Brandon?
The exact we said philosophy stuff, science stuff. Sometimes you along with the friends, you talk about science and philosophy, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really exciting stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, it used to be. I mean, it used to be.
Science.
Back in the day, you know, times change, people move on. But
Mhm.
so you've really never talked to me before? Interesting. I'm just wondering why Sock goes around trying to get into calls, but that's okay. I guess we all have to have our
It's okay.
interests, right? So what do you talk about, Sock? What's your interests? Feet? Are you into feet or feet into you? See what I did there?
Funny.
Are you a righty or a lefty?
Righty.
So you're prejudiced against lefties.
Not really.
You hate lefties. So if you wear do you have any shoes to go with your socks?
No.
No. So you just basically go bareback, I guess, right?
I think that was him laughing.
Yeah. See, I think this is Nick. I think this is Nikki on a sock. She came back. Is it
Possible.
Yeah. No, I have no idea. All I know is that I'm very, very tired and I'm very, very hungry. And I was only supposed to go for like a half hour, and this has already been freaking an hour. But Saki here wants to talk about something. It's cool. It is bring your own topic night, so. Saki, would you like to talk about something? Saki, I can't hear you, Saki. Saki is not muted.
Audio.
He's not muted.
Hmm.
Sock it, Mr. Sock.
Audio came through. It is not muted.
I can't hear him.
Miss, can't hear you, man.
Yeah. He's mouthing something. I need help. I'm held against my will with somebody who wears a size 12, and
Please help me.
he doesn't ever use any talcum powder, and it smells. And please send assistance immediately. I think that's what he said. I can't tell.
So, yeah,
It's close, right? Yeah. Yes. So, sorry, Mr. Sock. I guess you're gonna have to suffer more with that wretched, smell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anybody else got anything they want to talk about before I end this? Like I said, this is going to be a short stream. I didn't want to go for too much.
Well, let's see. Just touch a little more on Bayesian.
No, I don't want to talk about Bayesian.
Okay, screw Bayesian. Then.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's see.
boring.
What about climate change?
Climate change is real. It happens. The Earth is not
Yeah.
flat. Climate change is real. Aliens never came to our planet. What else you want to know? Ask me anything. Go ahead. I'll give you my belief on anything.
All right. Philosophy of science. How would you condense it? Particularly its outline.
Philosophy of science, basically, how science is used methodologically to come up with explanations for natural phenomenon based upon natural observations. So by doing so, it implements what's called methodological naturalism, or as I like to say, non-overlapping magisteria, which was Stephen Jay Gould's obviously his tagline. Non-overlapping magisteria, but same principle, right? So I think without that guiding force, science would be useless, because if you start positing supernatural causations for natural causes, then you basically have an infinite amount of things that you can posit, and it would just be a waste of time, because it would have no actual explanation for anything that satisfies even the weak PSR, which, by the way, I do think does collapse into a strong PSR, which you probably do too. Right, Sock? Do you agree?
Yeah, I think science is reverse engineered.
Well, as far as like non-reverse engineered, as opposed to. So what is reverse engineered?
Like it explains something.
That's what science does. Science observes something and then comes up with a naturalistic explanation for it. So it says, okay, I have seen this. How do we explain it? And then it gives the most likely hypothesis to explain the phenomenon. And then over time, those hypotheses are collected and they become a theory.
Mm. Science is shoehorned.
Don't know what you mean. So you don't like science, Sock?
No.
No. You don't
Why?
like are you a young Earth creationist?
Mm.
Are you a flat earther?
Creationist?
Yeah.
No.
Are you a flat earther?
No.
No. So you're not a flat earther, not a creationist. What would you put yourself as?
Creation.
Okay, so you're a creationist.
Yeah, not a theist.
So a creationist is not a theist. So what created the universe?
I don't know,
But was the Earth?
but it is plausible.
Well, what would be the? So was the universe created by an intelligence?
Probably.
And where would that intelligence exist?
I don't know, but I don't think something comes from nothing.
I don't think we have a way to determine either way.
Mm,
We've
well,
never experimented with nothing. How do we have any idea if something can come from nothing or not? We have no idea.
Nothing.
It's a guess.
Well,
Laws of thermodynamics.
No, thermodynamics doesn't state that.
well,
Wait,
also,
It did.
No, because for one, nothing is a philosophical concept. So we've never experimented with nothing. If nothing did exist, it wouldn't have any properties. It wouldn't have anything to prevent anything that was even potential to be actualized. It would have no ability to stop anything from being actualized. Because it doesn't have anything. It's nothing. We don't even have any idea what nothing would do if nothing did in fact exist. Because we're talking about philosophical nothing, not scientific nothing.
What's
So-
the difference?
Well, scientific nothing would be lacking of any materials or any force. Basically, most scientists generally believe that the most reduced form of nothing you can get in science is basically quantum foam level, which is basically instabilities in a metastable vacuum. Because in any system where you have quantum mechanical effects in the universe, you're going to have this metastable false vacuum that has to permeate all of space-time, and of course maybe the Higgs field. But as far as philosophical nothing, they wouldn't have allowed for even quantum fluctuations, because that paper that came out a few years back actually explained mathematically how a instability in a metastable vacuum could result in an entire universe forming. Remember that? Did you read that paper?
Yes.
Yeah. And it made a mathematical argument for that, but still you needed the precursor of the quantum fluctuations to even have something after that. So it's not the same as absolute nothing. Now, have you ever heard a book called A Universe from Nothing?
No.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Lawrence Krauss?
Yes.
Yeah. He wrote that book.
Oh.
And I had a discussion with Dr. Lawrence Krauss on this very thing. And it was very enlightening because we got to talk about Stephen Hawking's no boundary proposal, which is called the Hartley-Hawking proposal, and how to basically look at time from t equals 0 as a dimension. Well, the way they basically do it is they use imaginary time. The distance formula for a vector when it comes to the original creation of the universe, whatever it was, the original time of the universe, we can get down to t equals 0 by using imaginary time because the distance formula works with negative numbers. So that's called the Hartley-Hawking no boundary proposal. And so I got to talk to Dr. Krauss about that because a lot of people, when they hear the word nothing, they think that there was absolutely nothing, but that no boundary goes back to t equals 0 from the quantum fluctuations, which we now see as what's called the cosmic microwave background radiation. That's the remnant of those quantum fluctuations. A lot of people don't know that. Does the live chat know that? Do the live people know that what we call the cosmic microwave background radiation is really the afterglow of the original instabilities of the quantum background radiation that existed when the universe first started expanding in the inflation period?
I've been out of touch with physics for a bit, so my
Sock,
Yeah.
memory's a little
Sock knew
rusty.
that, though. Sock knew that.
Well,
Mhm.
the little bit I remember of cosmic background radiation is its remnants of the Big Bang, and I guess with the nothing, particularly within science.
Yeah, but
particularly-
but you see the cold and hot levels of it, right? The temperature differences, right? Because
yeah, the colors that are green are the coolest, whereas
Yeah.
in the more red yellow, it's hot.
But the
meaning it's-
homogeneity of it is because was called anesotropic effects. The anisotropy exists in the cosmic background radiation because of those initial quantum fluctuations. So it's not as homogeneous as we had expected, although the difference in temperature is pretty minute. It is still pretty measurable. And then, of course, you have the horizon problem of why one edge of the universe has very similar features as the other edge of the universe when they were never in causal contact with each other. But what solves that? Inflation! Yes! Good job.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, so we talk about science here. Yeah.
What about T-1?
T minus one would be incoherent. That's like asking what's south of the South Pole. It there's no such thing.
It just ends, or it begins.
It begins, right? Well, just like ever seen a ray? A ray has a point, and then it has a line that comes out of it with a vector.
Yeah.
So
That's geometry.
yeah, but the
That's
principle
not reality.
right. But the way the scientists will look at it, space existed, but space time did not. So at a certain time, for some reason, space time began with the initial inflation period of the Big Bang. But prior to that,
reason,
yeah, they have no idea the cause except for, of course, quantum fluctuations, but they don't know exactly what even caused those.
well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But basically, particularly our known universe began at that point. But as far as like the universe prior to that,
There could have been universes. Well, I don't know what prior loses all meaning when it comes to that. But if you look at the multiverse, for a level 2 multiverse, it would be an independent, spatio-temporally isolated universe. I do believe in I think for sure we have level 1 multiverse. I don't think anybody would argue against that, because a level 1 multiverse would just be a Hubble sphere. It would be really weird to be arguing we don't have a Hubble sphere. But level 2, that's problematic. And 3 and 4 are way out there. But
I haven't read up on multiverse in a minute.
Really?
So,
I literally have the book in my hand. Wait, I had it in my. Here we go. Wait, right here. I have a book in my hand. Here, I'll put it on camera because you don't believe me. Here, 1 sec. Where's my camera? Start cam. Wait.
What was it by Zerink? I think it's
Zerink. Yes, very good.
I got
Jeff
it on
Swearing.
Kindle. I just haven't.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it on Kindle. I just haven't
Now,
read it.
Jeff. You know what's funny is Jeff gave me this book.
Yeah, I remember you interviewed him.
Yeah,
on
I also went down to Fullerton. I got to hang out with him for a while. Dr. Jeff Swearing, Who's Afraid of the Multiverse? Very good book. Highly recommended. Very short, very small. You can. I mean, I'm not. I don't come. I don't finish the conclusion. I agree with the conclusion. Conclusion is God. But I mean, as far as the science in this book, it's really quite good. I mean, I do recommend it if you just want to get a basic overview of multiverse theory. How do you like that? Yeah, I know I have books. I know. You want to see some other ones? I don't want to go on camera today. I just don't. Well, I don't know. I go on camera. Hi, I do exist. This one right here. I just took off my socks, but my socks are black, and so I'm not. Don't be racist, by the way. But yes, this is called Dinosaur Blood in the Age of the Earth. Yep. And Dr. Fuzzrana, who I did a show with for quite some time, he wanted me to look over this book and as a layperson give my view of it to see if I can understand it. Anybody can, right? So I read it, gave my little review about it. I thought it was very well done. I talked to Mary Schweitzer about it. She didn't really seem to have any issues about it because this really deals with a lot with Dr. Mary Schweitzer's work on finding collagen from 65 million year old dinosaurs. So anyways, you guys don't want to see me. It's dark. Anyways, any other questions you'd like to know? Like I said, this is a late night chat.
Yeah.
Bring your own topic. I discuss anything anybody wants to talk about.
Well, this is also one thing. Well, because the book I've been reading, well, I kind of got a little bit off track with it. It's Theory and Reality by Stephen Youngkin. I forget his name, but it's basically Intro to Philosophy of Science. And one particular chapter that caught my attention was the difference between Lakatos, Loudon, and Fireben. Now, Lakatos, from what I got out of that bit, was, yeah, he basically, science progressed through scientific research programs a bit. I think Lakatos kind of had to go a hold to like a revisionist.
I have
type
no
idea.
idea what the hell you're talking about, and I read a lot of shit in my life.
Well, basically
see,
in the chapter.
Here's the thing, though. I fully admit when I don't know fuck all about something, man. I'll be like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, and I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Sock, do you know what he's talking about?
No.
God damn it! I was hoping Sock would know.
Well, basically, and I may get this kind of inaccurate, so take it with a grain of salt. Lakatos posited that science progresses through scientific programs, research programs, meaning it starts out with ideas or shaping principle framework, and if it becomes more fruition through the program, fine. Or you had like a subset under that calls off with a different one, and if it doesn't go anywhere, then it'll be subsumed under that program, that research program of the theory that's being researched. A bit, Lakatos, if I remember reading it correctly, his idea of how science is, because his writing is largely in response to Thomas Kuhn, in regards to Kuhn's theory of science, normal science, and paradigms, and how a dose of chaos or disruption within that paradigm causes science to reformulate and come up with a new theory, somewhere along that line. Loudon takes more of a neutral approach. He still holds to, it does go through research programs. That's how science advances, or and if there's other theories being posited by within that program, then they'll either they stand or fall depending on their success and their success, or how much they achieve. But if they don't, then they either falter or they're subsumed under the current theory. Paul Feyerabend takes more. Paul Feyerabend also was in it. Well, he differs on them. Instead of it being a research program, that science is more of a epistemic Royal Rumble.
I still have no idea what the hell you're talking about, but I'm gonna go with it, man.
Well, again, take what I say with a grain of salt, but
see, here's the thing, though, dude. I'm happy when I don't know what the hell somebody's talking about. I just go, hey, look, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, can't fake it. You know.
Hey, I got a comment.
Yes.
In like 100 years, isn't everybody going to be like laughing their ass off at all the surety in here?
The surety of what?
Yeah, the surety that you have and everything you're saying right now.
I don't have a lot of surety of the sciences when it comes to that stuff, because it's, scientific theory. It even though it's a confirmed model, we can only go back so far. Like, I have surety that the Earth is for a point, 5.4 billion years old, plus or minus 200 years. But what happened at T0, I don't have surety. Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You sound like you do.
Yeah, I'm sure that the Earth is billions of years old. That's kind of a given, right? You're not? How old do you think the Earth is?
I don't know.
Give me an estimate.
I can't give one. I don't know.
Is it more than a year old?
Probably.
Okay. Probably to the point where you believe that's more than a year old?
Well, as we understand time right now, but
yeah, well, as we understand time, either the Earth is more than a year old or it's not more than a year old. So do you believe it's more than a year old?
Probably.
Well, that's either it's a yes or no answer. Either you believe that.
No, but I mean, a billion is not really that big of a number.
Well, it depends on what, in regards to what.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But do you think the Earth
So if
is
you
over
say
a
that the
billion?
Earth is billions of years old, that could be a second. If you want to scale it down or scale it up.
Not quite how it works, but as far as how many revolutions of the Earth
Really?
went around the sun,
That's relative.
yes, relative to how many times the Earth went around the sun. Yes. So the Earth going around the sun is one orbit, correct? It takes 365 days
One
to do,
orbit.
right? So how many times has the Earth gone around the sun? Do you believe? I mean, is it billions of times?
It could be billions of billions and billions and billions of times.
Yeah, 4.8 billion, give or take. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 4.54 billion, give or take. Yeah, so I mean that I'm pretty sure of. I mean, the only things that I can say that I have epistemic surety of are things like like the law of identity. For all of x, x equals x. That, I cannot be wrong on that because it is necessary in all possible worlds. It cannot fail to be true. X equals
No.
s must be true. Correct?
Well, what does a tesseract look like?
Tesseract isn't the same thing as x equals x, right? A tesseract is a geometric shape in a fourth dimension.
What does it look like?
I don't think we could ever visualize it properly. Looks like a fourth dimensional cube.
Hmm. You can't visualize it?
No, I don't think we have the brain power to visualize those kind of spatial dimensions
So how do you know x equals x?
because that's not a spatial dimension. That's an identity. Anything you instantiate x with, it holds true. Thus called an identity. That's literally what an identity means. Identity means that anything you put in there, it holds true. Right?
I don't know.
Give me a counterexample of x equals x where you instantiate x with something and the equality doesn't hold.
Well, I'm not claiming to know.
No, I'm not saying that you do know. I'm saying, give me a counterexample, even if it's a belief. Can you give one?
No, I'm just saying that you can't be sure of anything.
But I am sure of it. It's called a priori knowledge. Yeah. You could think that I can't be sure, but you'd just be wrong.
Okay.
Well, Saki, you said you can't be sure of anything. What exactly do you mean?
What is it? Yeah, so you can't be sure that you exist as a sock.
Yeah.
So you doubt your own existence.
Well, this could be like a simulation.
But even in the simulation, you have some form. That form is what you exist in. That's your existence. So even if it's simulation, you still exist in some capacity.
Well, not if somebody's produced me.
But that's still in existence. You still are produced. You're the object of that production. Thus, you exist.
Mhm.
And I'm going to have a whole stream on Wednesday on the concept of existence, by the way, on metaphysics, the metaphysics of existence, and what I seem to think what consciousness, to me entails. But you're a sock, so you don't really have much of a mental state, I would think, right? I mean, Aaron Ra thinks rocks are atheists, so I guess he thinks rocks have mental states. But I don't think they do. But and I don't think socks have mental states. So, do you have mental states, sock?
I'm not sure.
So you're agnostic on that.
Yeah, I'm an agnostic sock. I'm a snock.
You're a schnock.
Schnock.
Yeah. Are you schnockered?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you drink? Are you an alcoholic?
No.
Do you like to drink?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your drink of choice?
Rum.
So you're supposed to say foot sweat.
Oh.
Yeah. You failed that one. It was so close though. I was that was a T for you. I laid it up for you, and you were supposed to spike it, and you didn't. But that's okay. So rum. Wait. So somebody wants to know: are socks atheist?
Well, socks lack a belief in a god.
Ergo atheist.
Socks are atheists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's foolproof. I mean, you can't fight against that one. That's pure R and raw logic right there. But I find it funny when people say they can't be sure of certain things. Sure, you can. There's many things you can have a priori certainty of, even in a Descartes sense. Just unfortunately, there's not very many. But any kind of things that are necessary, then yeah, by definition, they must exist in all possible worlds. Therefore, they're not contingent. Therefore, you cannot be wrong on it. I mean, there's no possible way you can have counterexamples. So,
Well, not only that, let's just throw certainty out the window. Just guess it. There are guesses, but good guesses are actually possible or probable. Then
I mean, you can take an educated guess, but even then, most of our beliefs are not educated guesses. They're conclusions based upon inferences, specifically inductive inferences. And then our other ones that are not inferential, they're from properly basic beliefs because we have no choice but to believe them or kind of function in a rational society.
Induction.
Yeah. But we can't justify the use of induction. Why?
Properly basic beliefs.
Yeah, but why can't we justify the use of induction?
Because then you're arguing in a circle.
Correct. It's circular reasoning because of Hume's problem of induction. See, Mr. Sock, you learned something there. Did you? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. We're gonna make you fluent in philosophy, Mr. Sock.
Oh, actually, Mrs. Sock, this is something I want to ask you. Do you have a job?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a foot warmer.
Well, okay. Let's go through like a kind of a thought experiment. Suppose at your job you tell your employer you're not available during certain days, and your employer constantly ignores your time availability and puts you on those days regardless. And this continues on for a certain duration, a certain time duration period, and it's continuously going on from, say, T1 to Tn. Would you agree that by inference, the probability that the employer is not going to respect your time availability is more probable than that they will, in light of that?
Yes.
There you go. That right there.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah,
that solves all the really deep, profound philosophical questions that are out there.
Okay, Carl Sagan.
that right there, Saki, is your prior probability, and then you go to posterior probability, and posterior probability is your inference that they are.
I would describe it a little differently, but that's just me.
But isn't that within a system? Aren't you describing something within it, like internally in a system?
Well, it's a Bayesian system, but all priors basically are just more of the unrelated things to what your actual key thing that you have to take into account to really get a statistical inference from. A lot of people don't take priors, things of knowledge, into account when they look at something, and because of that information that you may have that seems to be irrelevant, it may not be irrelevant and actually be very, very it might actually change things dramatically as far as statistics if you have that background information. So that those priors in Bayesian are pretty much unrelated background radiation that still has an effect. That's the best way I can explain it, Amir.
Yeah. Well, again, just to clarify, I'm pretty much a newbie when it comes to Bayesian, so I may be off on some. Steve, if I'm off, please correct me. But when you start out with Bayesian probability, you start out with the likelihood probability, P, E given H, which is probability of evidence given hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
That's your likelihood probability. That's a conditional probability. But that's not what you're mainly looking for, because for example, the book I'm reading on it gives an example. Say somebody wakes up with spots on their face, and a doctor tells them, well, most people that have smallpox have spots on their face. But then another one said, then they'll say, well, people with chickenpox also have spots on their face. So the likelihood probability or smallpox is probably going to be either 0.7 or 0.8, and chickenpox 0.6 or 0.7, or just to make it simple, put both at 0.5. What you're going to want to look for to estimate your posterior probability is your prior probability, which is the probability of the hypothesis in question, and that's going to be based on background data and
Yeah.
information on the diseases. Smallpox is rare, and the fact that it's rare renders that hypothesis improbable. Chickenpox is more common, and that makes it more probable in the prior probability. And the posterior probability that's rendered from that is that the probability is that person has chickenpox is more probable than them having smallpox.
Yeah. Well, same thing. Like if you all you have that information from somebody that this person likes playing Microsoft Flight Simulator, are they more likely a pilot or a lawyer? Well, the correct answer is lawyer. Why?
Really?
Yeah. Why?
Why?
Can you tell me why, Amir?
Oh, sorry.
If all you know about a person is a like playing Microsoft Flight Simulator, is it more likely they're a lawyer or a pilot or a lawyer? The answer is lawyer.
Because they haven't learned how to fly yet.
No,
Is
the
that what
answer
you're
is a
saying?
lawyer because there's more lawyers than there is pilots. So statistically, if you have a person, they're more likely to be a lawyer than they are a pilot because there's more lawyers than pilots. It's unrelated information that it influences your analysis, right? Because lawyers like playing like Microsoft Flight Simulator too. But if you're just asking, are they more likely to be a pilot
Do they?
or a lawyer? Statistically, with priors, it's going to be a lawyer merely because there's many more lawyers out there than there are pilots.
Do you have a girlfriend?
Steady? wait, Are you asking for like singular or plural? You know,
Plural.
I have friends. I'm okay. I don't talk about my personal life anymore. I after my last I did a little experiment and it was freaking hilarious. So yeah, I don't talk about the people that I go out with. Why? You interested? I haven't dated a sock since I was like 13.
Yeah.
I get that joke. Get it? I bet you did. All right. Are you looking for a mate? Are you looking for a matching sock?
Mm.
Are you lonely?
Little.
Why is he? What is all this lately? I swear to God, I get hit all the time. I don't know what it is. Ask Kano, man. She's in the audience. I don't know what it is. I get gay guys hitting me all the time, and again, I don't care. I'm not bothered by it at all. I'm flattered by it, but especially after I cut my hair short, just I don't know. It's just like everything kind of changed. People just start notice. You think people had like longer hair, but nope. Everybody likes shorter hair. So yeah. Hi, Kano.
I get
How's
the
work?
opposite.
Kano's at work right now. Everybody say hi to her.
Oh, what's going on? Yeah, I get the complete opposite reaction.
Yeah, because you have long hair.
Yeah, I have long hair, and I get looked at and hit on more than I did with short hair.
Yeah, I every time I go out, I meet somebody just about. I've been having fun. Don't put that shirt on me. What shirt? Oh shit! I blame Eric Cano for everything, but whatever. How's work, Cano? I mean, are you like listening on your phone? Are you? What Cano would do is to put my podcast out there so like people can listen as they're like working late at night. So that's cool. So, okay, are your coworkers listening, Cano, or just you tonight? Work is boring. Well, yeah. No, well, that's kind of a given. But are they listening or is it just you, Cano? Because she's literally at work. She really is. Yeah, we had the sock show up. I don't know who they are. It could be somebody I loathe. I don't know because again, I don't recognize their voice. But he says I never spoke to him before, so I don't know.
Oh, actually, this is one thing I want to ask Sock. What do you think of agnostic atheism?
He's stunned with silence. Yeah, well, I asked Dr. Stephen Law about that question. If you saw me tag him, I've talked to Steven a few times in private. He's supposed to come on Non Sequitur in December, but we'll see if that happens. I doubt it. He's just so busy, but he actually said something the other day about how he loves to give his time, answering questions for people and stuff like that. So I said, yeah, I've always been appreciative of your time. And hey, by the way, what do you think of agnostic atheist? Because I think the wiki page is horrible, and we need to find somebody with a PhD in philosophy to go fix that stuff, because that page in philosophy wiki is just horrible on it. So Kino says just her and Erica. Where's Eileen? Or is it Eileen, or is it Elaine or Eileen? How do you pronounce Eileen? Is that Eileen or Elaine? Anybody know?
ELE.
Eileen. She works with Kano, and she's like really, really pretty, actually, and really nice. But whatever. Far too young, but she's really pretty and really nice. Maybe she has an auntie my age. I don't know. Let's see here. Wax Paper says, I read about some Bayesian analysis and look back at the Fermi paradox. It was pretty interesting. They posted life in the universe could be so rare. It's only us. Yeah, that's called rare earth hypothesis. There's a couple different ways that people can solve the Fermi paradox. I don't think any of them are any good. Be honest with you. The most interesting one is that we are the first life to have developed in the universe. That's why that we're alone. I don't think that would be something that I would really lean to, because that makes us very, very Earth-centric. I think it's very arrogant to think that we'd be the very first life in the entire, 46 billion light years, or 93, was it 93 across all the light years of the universe, that we're the very first intelligent species to have developed.
You seriously need to get laid, man.
I know. How does he know that I haven't? He has no idea. I mean,
he checked
I don't know why
out.
my sex life is so popular with people. I meet girls all the time. I got yelled at for bringing one back to the apartment by Kano. But whatever. We had fun. But again, you know what's so funny? I shit you not. You want to hear something fucking hilarious, Amir?
Shoot.
So the whole shtick with people going around saying that I'm an atheist sex cult leader, right?
That I didn't know.
Oh yeah. So the whole shtick now, this new alternate reality gaming for LARPing, live action role playing. It started a few months ago, and basically trying to promote this narrative that I was an atheist sex cult leader, right? And I would fly to these atheist conventions and use philosophy to meet women and get them to sleep with me, right? And I'm thinking to myself, this never fucking happened, because I've never been to an atheist convention in my life. I'm not even an atheist, but I'm like, let me think about this. So when I've been going out, I've actually been talking philosophy with women, and I swear to God, I'm actually surprised that a handful of them, not all of them obviously, but the ones that are interested in it are very interested in it. I've had some really amazing conversations, and that's how I've got some fucking numbers by talking about philosophy. I'm like, holy shit, this actually works. I'm like, holy crap. I'm not even joking. I'm not even fucking joking, man. Because, some people are like, yeah, like, that sock guy that I was fucking with as well. It's just like, they're like, oh yeah, it's boring, blah, blah, blah. Then you reach that one, like, oh, I'm majoring in psychology, or, oh, I'm majoring in, science. And then you have these conversations, and you strike up these conversations. And so I've been talking philosophy with these really attractive women, and yeah, it's been panning out. So,
Philosophy's way to pick up chicks. No.
Who would have thought? I was actually bullshitting before, thinking when I was bullshitting people by saying, hey, look, who would get laid by talking about philosophy, right? I wasn't bullshitting because I was serious about that at the time. I was like, yeah, this is stupid. Who would ever fucking use philosophy to pick up women, right? And then I started trying it, and lo and behold, it actually has effectiveness. What is it? It's efficacy. Yes, the efficacy of it is actually not bad. Can't complain. So, yeah.
So the more I become entrenched in Bayesianism, the probability.
I want to go to Bayesian, and I think that's probably a bit much. No, I usually talk about, things like I don't know, beliefs, Christian beliefs. Because I wear my necklace, right? My upside down cross, and that starts as a conversation starter. I went on live the other day to explain what happened when I wore my cross, and a couple of Christian friends said, "Hey, do you mind putting that away?" Because we're offended by it. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'd be happy to do so, even though if I said, hey, look, I'm a Satanist and your cross that you're wearing offends me, will you put it away? I would be considered to be an asshole, and rightly so. But them as Christians, they had no compunction whatsoever to ask me to put away my satanic cross because it offended them, which I thought was hilarious, right? I'm like, okay. And then later on, like the very next day, the same person who was offended was hugging and kissing on me while I was wearing the necklace, because she's like, "Oh, I got heebie-jeebies from the neck, your thing you're wearing." The very next day, she's hugging and kissing on me, even though I'm literally wearing that necklace, and it's showing. It's not like I have it underneath my shirt; it's showing. And I'm thinking to myself, well, obviously that wore off pretty quickly, right? I was like, okay, whatever. Whatever. But I just thought it was funny that I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go to the bar and I'm going to actually just sit there and tell people, yeah, because I usually ask, what do you do? I do loss prevention. I tell a little bit about podcasts, but I was like, I love philosophy and I love epistemology. I talk about my paper, show them, I was on Forbes and things of that nature. And oh my God, they're like, oh my God, this guy actually has some freaking shit that he does. And we have conversations, and that's what I like. I'm a conversationalist, so. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I don't go out that much because I got a lot of things I got to get done. Particularly more currently learning Bayesian epistemology, as well as philosophy of science, and also Linux and all this other stuff. I just have too much stuff I have to get done.
Step past all that shit, man. I'm just in the have fun stage of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I have to go to work and stuff like that. And I enjoy immensely what I do. I really do, which was very fortunate because, getting a lot of people have jobs they don't like. I happen to really love my job, and I love the people I work with. They're all amazing. I usually there's like one person at your job that you just can't stand. Almost everywhere I've ever been, there's like the one person. But where I'm at now, there's nobody that I don't like. I get along with everybody, and I enjoy it. It makes the working environment so much better,
Mm-hmm. It just depends really on the job environment and how that environment, particularly how the dynamics of that environment really affect the workplace and how that affects your coworkers, and that will affect the cohesion of how everybody works together.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they know I've got their back. I mean, they'll ask me, hey, can you walk me to my car? Can you make sure that, I can get to my car safely? If they have to remove anybody, I'm right there with them. I like the other day, I showed up about a half hour early because I wanted to get some food before I went to work. And so I got some food, and I walk in, right? And this is, I'm not going to tell people where I work, but let's just say it's a very, very, very large company, very large store. I think we revenue about 15 million annually, so it's pretty decent. And I walked in, and then this one person who had been banned before, I saw and I noticed them, and so I was like letting them know, hey, this person, I just saw him come at the same time as me, and he's been banned before. And so even I was just shopping, right? Because I was off the clock, but I was shopping, and they ended up kicking him out. But I was still, even as I was shopping right next to the other people in case something had happened, in case there was a problem, because they know I've got their back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I am. I mean, I have my mace, I have my knife, I have my flashlight, which is it's sufficient for me to protect myself. We've had people been spit at. We've had people been slapped. We've had another store where somebody got hit over the head with something. So it can happen. You just have to take safety precautions and be vigilant. But it's part of the job. I don't intimidate very easily. But I will go out of my way to protect people because most of the people there are I hate to say it, they're half my size. They're females. They're all like 20 years of age, 19 years of age. And so they're not going to be somebody who wants to, to get in altercations. And of course, you have to de-escalate as much as possible. And I'm really good at de-escalation techniques. However, you still have that nutty person who comes in that's either drunk or just sociopathic that will not de-escalate and refuses to leave or wants to have an altercation. In which case, you have to do what you have to do to protect yourself and your coworkers. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. My job, if we try to say, well, any form of de-escalation, literally either the front end or the manager themselves, so they have to come and intervene. If we individually do any of the such, we could possibly get fired.
Well, you can never get fired. I mean, anybody can get fired for anything, but I mean, I would love to see me get fired for defending myself. No, I've already, have that discussion with the district, head honcho person. I'm like, look, they know my experience. My experience is pretty vast, and I said, look, my position is that if somebody lays hands on me, I'm going to do what I have to do to defend myself. And there's no rule book in the world that's going to prevent me from doing that. And they're like, nope, you're allowed to. He's like, you can what's called fight. There's three things: fight, flee, or I don't. There's something else too, but or hide. So fight, flee out the door, or go hide. But I'm like, because nowadays a lot of people have to have what's called active shooter training, right? Almost every business you go work for has active shooter training. And this is a very real thing. In my location, a lot of people do have weapons, but if somebody has used a weapon on somebody and you already know they were willing to use a deadly force, at that point, you have to be able to use whatever means to stop that person. You can flee, you can hide, but if you have to take that person's life, I will take that person's life. I will do what I have to do, without question, without compunction, without remorse. And that's just how it is, and that's how I think people should be. If somebody has caused harm to somebody, you already know that they're going. Especially if they've already used that weapon, any chance you have where you don't have to put your own life in danger for stupid stuff. You're not going to go after a person where they're still, pointing a weapon. But if they have to take that weapon down to reload, and you have an opportunity, I'm probably going to stab them in the fucking neck. But that's just me.
Yeah, you literally have to move very quickly and take them out right then. And that's
also military training. Military training, you're trained to react. You're trained to,
You're trained to react and take them down hard and fast.
Yeah. Yep, pretty much. And everybody in the military has had some training. It's part of the course,
Mm-hmm.
And if not, you'll learn it as you go, because you just on ship you get really bored, so you practice weightlifting and hand-to-hand combat and some other stuff. So, anyways, this was fun, guys. I don't know what the hell this was tonight. It was just a late night chat to bring your own topic, but I'm going to call it a night because it is midnight my time. I'll be back on Wednesday. I'm going to talk about, like I said, existential concepts. I want to have a conversation. It'll be much earlier in the day, probably about 2 p.m. my time. Pacific, to really talk what it means to exist as far as a consciousness. It'll dive a little bit into philosophy of mind, but it's really going to be what you guys think it means to exist on a conscious level, and I think it's going to be a fun discussion. So,
in layman's terms, Steve's going to come out as a continental philosopher.
No, never, nope, hate that shit. Contemporary analytic all the way, man. Yeah, I can't do the continental philosophy stuff, man. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I mean, I took a philosophy 101 course years ago, and it began with pre-Socratics and general philosophy 101, and where we ended, if I remember correctly, it was with Karl Marx. So it was mainly continental, albeit it also depends. It also depends on assuming there is such thing as a continental analytic distinction. I mean, there is some minuscule differences, primarily like experience and what have you, but it just depends on whether one holds that distinction, really.
Yeah, see,
And it also depends on the continental philosopher that they hold to.
yeah, I never got into the continental stuff, the especially the Asian that kind of stuff.
Oh, East Asian philosophy.
So
That's
who
all.
so who said from each according to his ability to each according to his need?
Memories of
Karl Marx. Yes, it was actually Karl Marx. Some people actually thought that was in the Constitution, believe it or not, for each according to his ability to each according to his need or needs. But that isn't in the Constitution. It's actually a quote by Karl Marx. But a lot of things people think of the Constitution aren't. I've read it. It's 10 pages, or like I don't know, it's like 10 pages long, some shit. Without God knows how many amendments. 22 amendments is there? Alexa, how many amendments are there in the Constitution?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, the United States Constitution contains 27 amendments.
27 amendments. Okay, I was off by 5. Who needs the last 5, right? They're not important. The only important ones are the first 6 anyways. Nobody knows the other ones anyways. You know? I was gonna do a man on the street stuff. I want to ask people if they even knew the first 6. Does anybody in the live chat know the first 6 amendments? Anybody? Do you?
I just remember the First Amendment.
Okay, well, paraphrase them. You don't have to quote them verbatim. I mean, but what?
Congress shall not make laws. Congress shall not pass a law in respect to establishing a religion or prohibit the free exercise thereof, nor free speech.
Correct. Okay, that's the First Amendment. Yep, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, freedom of exercise without fear of redress from the government. Yep, government should make no law with respect to any religion. Okay, that's worse. What's the second?
The right to bear arms. I don't remember the exact.
According to a well-regulated militia. Okay. Again, you paraphrase. Yeah. I'm not. By the way, I'm not looking this up. I swear. What's the third one?
No comment.
Third is that you cannot force somebody to quarter military personnel during times of war. Fourth Amendment. Illegal search and seizure. People should have the rights to be free of the government intervention to establishment of their rights of papers. Was it papers, property, and whatever? I don't have memorized. I should have memorized. You know what? I'm going to memorize the first 6 because they're not that hard. But it's basically Fourth Amendment is illegal search and seizure against people's persons, places, property, or papers. And then the Fifth Amendment is against self-incrimination, which, by the way, you do not need to be arrested for it to take the Fifth Amendment. If you have a stop by a cop. Consensual or non-consensual, it doesn't matter. If you are detained and you are not free to go, you can invoke the Fifth Amendment anytime you want. And they don't, by the way, here's a fun fact. They don't even have to tell you whether you're detained or not. If they have stopped your motion that you're not free to travel, they do not have to expressly say that you're detained. You are in detention because you have been stopped from your whatever you were doing. So if you're not free to leave, you are being detained. You can invoke your Fifth Amendment. And then the Sixth Amendment is the right to speedy trial. Those are the ones that most people really need to know. Yeah, don't frisk me, bro. There you go. Terry stop. Yeah, Terry frisk. Which a lot of people get wrong. The Terry kid is wrong as well, but yeah. Tell tyrants to find their own tent. Yeah, exactly. Can't. Yeah. So, those are basically the 6 amendments in a nutshell. But but the statement from each according to his ability to each according to his need was attributed to Karl Marx. Which what's so funny is there is some realism to that when it comes to society and comes to socialism. With unfortunately, maybe not as bad as people make it out to be. America has a lot of socialism to it. It really does. It's not. I would say we're probably more social programs than we have any kind of democratic programs because we're not a democracy. We're a republic. We're a constitutional republic. So,
if I remember, well, I believe it's Noam Chomsky. I may be misremembering, but I think he described the systems around here as state-run capitalism. So it's, I guess you could say it's quasi-socialist.
Yeah. One of these I'll have Vosh on. He can go over all that stuff. But anyways, I want to go because I want to eat. So, Amir, always a pleasure, man. Right. Appreciate you coming in.
So, no problem, Steve.
You still go by Doulos or?
On my Twitter, on my Twitter handle.
Yeah. Okay. And do you You still go by Steven too, right? Was it?
On my Facebook
Yeah,
page,
yeah, okay.
I still go, but yeah, that's my personal page.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I tend to be more on Twitter. Whatever rant and insanity I throw out there, it's mainly on Twitter because there's more cringe on Twitter.
Right? Yeah, no
Facebook.
doubt. Yeah, Vosh. I don't know what to make of Vosh. I don't have anything against him. Some people think he's a turd. I don't know. I've never had any altercations with him or anything. I just don't understand half the time what they're always talking about. Because again, I don't get into the political, social aspects of stuff, so it's just not of interest to me. I've lost a lot of interest in shit, politics, theology. I'm really down to just the bare bones shit that I like to talk about, which is again some philosophy, some science, and just shooting the shit. You know.
Would you say that? Would you say it's burnout or?
No, I'm not gonna say it's burnout. What I think more it is that in the last couple months I've been spending more time offline, and I've been enjoying it so much that I just really haven't had the wherewithal to want to prep for anything when I do a stream. Because normally when I do a stream, I have to prep for it, right? I like to know the subject matter a little bit, and I just haven't had the wherewithal to really look into anything to say, yeah, this is what I want to talk about, except for the whole existence thing. I thought that was interesting because I was just talking about that with somebody else. But other than that, I'm not going to talk about my personal life that much again, because again, some people are so interested in my sex life, it's ridiculous. But they get nothing. So I don't, like I said, I just haven't been interested in streaming that much.
Yeah, it's
I have 2,000. Maybe there's some burnout. I don't know. Maybe because I mean, shit. I got 2,000 freaking videos. I got almost 10 million views. What else am I gonna fucking talk about anymore? I don't know.
Yeah. More recently, just been raging against Christian nationalism. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would rage against that too. But I've had Vosh on before, Pipeline Audio. I've dealt with Vosh. Vosh has been on the channel before, at least the Non Sequitur show. But I just don't have any personal problems with him. Why, you think I should avoid him? What's the deal with Vosh? People don't like. I know people don't like him, but I don't even know why. I don't get into that much. He has a following though. Not that it matters to me. I don't have people on because they have followings. I mean, everybody I have on has a following of some kind, or not. I don't care. I mean, he even asked me the other day, hey, what is it? What do you want? What can we have a thing on? And I'm like, I have no idea, dude. I was like, I have no idea what the hell I could even talk to you about, because his content is so different than mine.
What is his content about? I'm not
social politics, value. I think he does a lot with value theory, labor value theory. I think he wants to stir the pot, and he just has a lot of controversial stuff. But yeah, Vosh is not vindictive. Yeah, I've never seen him go after really anybody. Right? I don't really see that at all. I probably listen to Vosh more than I would Destiny, though. Although I've never had an issue with Destiny either. Just I have no interest in anything Destiny talks about. But I haven't had even time to review a video or anything lately. There was one that I saw the other day that maybe I might review, but it's still kind of very similar to the other stuff I've reviewed. And so there's not a lot of overlap there. So what I was thinking about doing, Amir, is on my laptop, I said I got this new laptop, as I want to write another paper. But I want to write this paper on the logical ambiguity of agnostic atheism. And I'm sure I'm going to derive a lot from my writings and my blog. But, my first paper got 1,500 freaking views on Academic EDU, which is pretty damn impressive. It's still in the top 2%. I am blown away from that. I mean, by that. That just boggles my mind, because I know people that have written many papers with a PhD and they get like 100 views, 20 views, 213 views. And then I come along and I write my first paper and it has, 1,500 views, which doesn't sound like a lot, because people think, people get millions of views. But this is an academic web page. This is Academic EDU. Mm-hmm. This is not exactly like TikTok. If you get over 1,000 views on a paper, that's pretty damn good from what I understand. Because, I mean, I read papers by PhD friends of mine and they've got like 200 views after a year.
I think it's partially due in part because of the work you put out here on YouTube.
Oh, I
and,
agree.
Shaking the tree.
I agree, but here's the thing: not a single solitary person has been able to refute my paper yet. So,
Yeah, I mean the only way they could do that is just really strawman it, poison the well ad hom.
yeah, that's all. That's all that happens. I mean, somebody could just say, "Well, I don't agree. There's no axiological value to it." Okay, that's fine. That's a subjective evaluation. But as far as the paper itself, it clearly is logically valid, and I don't see why anybody wouldn't accept the premises. So it's sound as well. So it's a strong argument. Well, I should say strong because that's used for inductive, but it's a good argument. So
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, you lay out the argument pretty well. If there's anything wrong with it, they need to be able to dispute the premise or show why it's not sound.
yep, exactly,
Uh,
and nobody has.
But yeah, and this kind of goes back to Karl Popper and philosophy of science. What you putting out there is basically a hypothesis.
Yeah, it needs falsificationism.
Well, any hypothesis, for it to be an actual hypothesis, needs to subject itself to falsification.
Well, it should. It
refutation.
should, isn't? I don't. Some scientists disagree with that. It's nice to have, but it's not the be all end all.
Yeah, it's not the all and all. And Karl Popper's refusal of confirmation of hypothesis is super cringe. But
Yeah, I'm not a big falsificationist. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, like I said, I want to write another paper on agnostic atheism. But it's just the problem is I don't have it formulated in my head cogently yet. I know I have it on my blogs, but I need to figure out a way to kind of put that information I put in my blog into an actual paper and parse it to where it's coherent, it makes sense. It wouldn't be a deductive argument. It would be a subjective, a subjective argument. That's all. Because again, the ambiguity of the term agnostic atheist is subjective. There's no logical way I can deduce that. I can just say it's ambiguous logically, which it is. I can prove that, but I cannot prove just because it's logically ambiguous, it doesn't have any axiological value. I can just argue that it has lower axiological value than other types of terminologies. Does that make sense? Because it is subjective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's subjective and yeah, it's very ambiguous. Like it basically to claim the position, it's just really, to quote Ozzy, hiding amongst the house plants.
Yeah.
You're basically not putting. Well, you're claiming that position, and you're dealing with other people who hold a certain metaphysics about reality, and you're deeming it false. But okay, you don't believe it. Okay, you don't believe it, but what is it do you actually believe about it? Do you believe it's false? Or do you?
Well, I'm trying to get atheists to come on and talk about, but they'll talk to me on Facebook occasionally, and I'm like, well, you're wrong. Let me explain to you why you're wrong. And then most of them just ignore everything I say. It's like, are you kidding me? They're just adamant that they think they know what they're talking about when I guarantee that they don't. So. But anyways, I'm going to call it a night. I'll get on earlier on Wednesday, so we get a nice, fun free-for-all on Wednesday talking about existential stuff. This is a late night stream that occasionally I'm going to be having after I get off work if I feel like it, where people just jump in and talk about everything. And they're fun. They're fun. I mean, I have no idea who the stock person is. Don't care. But I mean,
probably a troll, but
well, clearly. But I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, again, I just don't care. I've lost all interest in trolls and shitty people. I'm leaving it for everybody else to go do their thing and expose them all they want. And when justice comes around, I'll be right there partying with them. Because if you like, example, if Katie Joy loses $1 million to 7M, I'm going to be opening up the best bottle of champagne I could find locally, and getting hammered that night. So we'll see what happens. I know she has a hearing on the 21st. Also got jury duty on the 21st, so I may not be able to listen in So that sucks.
Yeah. If she streams it, well, and assuming she doesn't
Well, you can't
take
stream.
it down.
Well, you can't stream it because you can't record the hearing.
Oh shit.
I got two people in the audience that are having at it, and I don't know what they're going on. Pipeline and Philip, they want to debate. Let me on to debate Philip. Anybody can come on, Pipeline. The link literally is in the live chat. You can join us, dude. But I mean, what's your beef with each other? And it's already fucking midnight. I don't want to have a debate right now. I'm only streaming this because I was bored and I wanted to like sit and relax and chill before I go make some dinner before I go to sleep. Because I got to work tomorrow too, but then I'm off on Wednesday, so I'm going to stream earlier. But what is Pipeline and Philip having at it? What's going on, guys? Talk to me. Let me de-escalate. Let me help you to reach a denouement, so to speak, a resolution. Love, not hate. I don't know who he is either, dude. I have no idea. I've never seen the name Philip H before. Philip, how do you know Pipeline? Sorry. Go what?
Basically, this is conflict mediation.
Conflict mediation. I'm good at that. Yeah. Philip, how do you know Pipeline? Pipeline, why don't you drop on in here so you can talk verbally rather than have to type if you want. I'll keep it open for another 15 minutes most. Well, 13 minutes, 12 minutes. Sorry, most. I will be ending this at 12:30 my time. No questions asked unless something extremely eventful. Yeah, I see they just started talking crap. But why? Obviously, he knows you, I think. I mean, most people just don't come on and start talking crap unless they know somebody. I'm just kind of curious what that was about before I end this. He called me out for calling him out on what?
Oh, what about?
He says, let's see here, scroll up here. Pipeline, try not to be to the R word. I don't want to offend anybody. Not in the mood to go down that rabbit hole today. You need to collect your mic there, Pipeline.
Oh.
Yeah, you need a or there we go. All right.
Well, now is this mic on?
Yeah. So what's the deal with them, dude?
Let me shut
Pipeline, try
that
not to
page.
be-
Hold on. Oh,
Got
wow.
a little echo there.
Is that mic on?
Yeah, but there's echo.
Oh, hold on. So let me get a.
And the echo's not on my end.
How about now?
Yeah, there we go. Nope. Still there. Oh my god, is that on my end? Is that on my end or yours?
You're still.
No,
you're still-
it's
okay.
that.
Oh, wait. That's me.
It's
Sorry.
Yeah.
How about now?
Testing. Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's
leave it
this
to the
guy-
guy that actually owns a
Right,
recording
I was gonna
studio
say,
to have the
I was gonna- this is
audio
your-
all messed up.
I was like, this is your genre right here, man. You do audio
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
So
idiot.
what's the deal with this guy, Philip, man?
I have no idea. He just started talking crap. I don't know what he's. I have no idea.
I've never heard the guy, so I don't recognize the name.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe he just likes Vosh or something. You know.
Oh, is that what it was? Because you're shitting on Vosh?
Maybe, but I'll tell you this: Vosh isn't one of these guys that's going to be your friend for a little while and then come and try and steal your channel from you or any dumb
Right?
thing like
I'm
that.
used to
He's
that.
not like that.
No. I got no issue
At
with
least
Vosh.
not that I've ever seen.
No, I got no issue with Vosh. I just I know Josh Brister wants to debate him on something, and I'm like, I don't know, no idea what, but I think Vosh would be way out of his league. But Josh Brister is going to debate Red's rhetoric on the 18th because he thinks he can convince Reds to go back to Christianity in real time live. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun. What can go wrong?
I want
there?
to hear that one, man. That'd be awesome.
Me too. Seriously, I was like, this is great. This is gonna make for an awesome show, actually. So, because I mean,
that'd be killer.
I'm still doing the non sequitur show every Friday as much as I can. I might take one day off one Friday a month off every so often. I am doing non sequitur show on Fridays, and that's really what I'm putting more effort into than like this channel. However, I'm still putting out content on this channel, but this channel is going to be, just for like this kind of stream. And then, like I said, on Wednesday, I'm going to be talking about existential stuff. So it's just going to be philosophy stuff, science stuff, chat. It's not going to be any kind of like major shows like I once had on this channel. If I decide to do anything like that, like Justice, like the Caffeine Corner or what's the other show that I did? The oh my god,
Drunken no. What's the other
Justice Call. What the hell? I can't remember the name of my own show.
I don't know.
Whatever the hell it was.
We'll see if this guy wants to come on and tell me I'm an idiot, man.
Yeah.
I would love to see. Stuff about the hard problem of consciousness. They had some Tom Jump stream the other day with somebody. Everybody's on it, and they kept bringing it up. I thought people figured the mind is what the brain does or whatever, but there was all these guys were there that were like dualists and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's
here's I'll give you a brief synopsis on it in a second. Philip says Steve is the man. Yeah, thank you. I watched you guys before. The asshole can't remember his name. Stole your money. Flatter shit. That was his name was Kyle. Yeah. But Philip, I want to know why you're mad at Pipeline. What the hell did Pipeline do to you?
Really?
Pipeline, I don't agree on a lot of shit, but I mean, I got no issue with him. He's direct. I appreciate that. But we don't always agree on things. Could be. Yeah. But Philip, what is it about Pipeline you like? Oh, so anyways, on the hard problem of consciousness, here's how it would be described in a nutshell. The physical brain has what's called extensional state. Extensionality means it exists in 3 dimensions, right? It has some kind of spatial temporal relation. That's called in this particular case, that's called extensional. Okay. Now that's not how the word is used in mathematics, or it's not how it's used in other aspects of philosophy. But when they say the mind is extensional, it means that mind takes up space. Okay. So the mind has form. The mind takes up space. So if the mind is extensional, the brain is extensional. I'm sorry. The mind, however, is non-extensional. It takes up no space. It has no spatial temporal component to it. It is independent of space and time in that regard, because it doesn't have locality to it. Right? Somehow it's inside of our head. Right? Somehow it's inside as an emergent property made with the mind, but it doesn't have any spatial temporal dimensions to it. So it's considered to be what's called non-extensional. Okay.
Definitely has time, doesn't it? I mean,
not really. I mean, we experience time, but it could be illusionary. But think about it. Think about as far as causalities. A dream is inert, right? A dream has no causal power. A thought is inert. It has no causal power, right? There's no dimensions to a thought. Now there could be a length of something, but the thought itself, as far as existence, does not take up any dimensions, any space, time. It's called non-extensional. So even if you want to put that aside, it still has no causal powers. So the mind-body problem is multifaceted, but one of the most difficult things is, how does a thought that has no causal power cause something to happen physically? I have a thought that I want to go do something. I go do it. That thought manifested itself as a physical action, but it started off as a non-extensional, non-causal power thought. How does that happen? I mean, I can't think things into existence. I can't think, I want this to happen. It just happens for anybody else, but for myself, I can have a thought and I can make that happen because I can breathe, I can move, I can say something. These are all thoughts that I'm having. But how does a thought translate into a physical manifestation? And then the opposite of that is, how does a physical manifestation get translated into a thought? But that one's a little bit less, I think, more difficult. I think the harder problem, at least conceptually, is how does a non-causal thought cause something to happen? That's the mind-body problem.
I don't even think that's a actual question. I mean, I know it's a question, but I think that sounds to me like claiming that an arrow can never hit a target because it has to travel half that distance and half. Well, no,
because that's first of all, that's Zeno's paradox, and that was solved by calculus, right? Because if you take the summation of the sum of 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 plus 1/16, which is going to be 1/2n, that is a convergent series, and that convergent series will converge upon 1. So that's also
solved by an arrow actually hitting the target.
Yeah, because it converges. But what I'm saying is the thought itself is an abstract, right? It's like the number 2. The number 2 has no existence in as far as space time. It exists on a Platonic level. If you want to talk about what's called Platonic realism or mathematical realism, sure. Yeah. And I'm tending more to mathematical realism now these days, more over nominalism. But either one's fine. But even still, even as a nominalist or as a mathematical Platonist, the number 2 has no power to do anything. So it'd be like saying the number 2 exists, therefore I can drink water. But how does the number 2 do that? It has no power to do anything. A thought is an abstract concept. It has no power to do anything. It's just an abstraction. How does an abstraction cause myself to go take a drink of water?
I mean, can you have a thought if your brain is dead?
Well, that's again, but that's a completely different aspect of it. That goes into the, again, is it property dualism? Is it substance dualism? To me, I don't adhere to substance dualism, which means the mind and the physical brain are 2 different substances. I think that the brain itself is a physical substrate, and then out of that is the emergence of what's called property dualism that allows the mental states. So the mental state supersedes on the physical state as an emergent property from a non-reductive physicalist, but that isn't 2 different substances. It's either what's called neutral monism, which is two things that come out of a neutral substance, or what's called property dualism, which means it has 2 different properties, one of the mental states, one of the physical states, but not to the extent where they're 2 different substances, as you would find as a substance dualist, which more the theists would adhere to, because they believe if you have a substance dualism, you can get rid of the brain and still leave the mind. I don't think that's possible. I think the mind seems to be intrinsically and able to be excised from the brain. I think they're intricately leaked. It'd be like saying, I have water, but I'm going to take out wetness. You can't do it, right?
Would a computer be a dualist?
Well,
I don't even understand how this. I don't even understand how this is a question,
because the mental state is so bizarre from the physical state that
I don't think so.
Well, it really is. Mental conscious is just an abstraction. Your mind is an abstraction. Your thought, all you
of your physical stuff.
Yeah, but it's mostly a collection of memories, things that you've reasoned. But the mental itself is nothing that's physical. The brain's physical, but the mind is not physical.
How is the mind not physical? That's like saying that a video game is not physical.
The game itself isn't physical. The software is a code. The hardware is hardware, but the game itself isn't something that's physical. It's an abstraction. It's a rendering.
Well, it's causing physical dots. It's taking physical inputs. It's just what the hardware is doing.
But it's an emergent property. Like, example, does the number 2 have any kind of concreteness? Does that form?
Only
does that have substance?
Not the number 2 by itself, I don't think.
Because it's abstract, right? It's just an abstraction.
Yeah.
Well, that's how most people will generalize the mental state. It's just abstraction. A dream has no real.
Yeah, I don't see how though. I mean, I guess
I don't
just
see how
working
not.
on computers and stuff. It's just a different.
Does a dream exist? If I say I had a dream last night, did that dream exist?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a function of what your body physically did.
But nobody else has access to it. It has no spatial temporal dimensions to it. Really, it's just what we perceived. But
and if I encrypted a password with 64 bits, you're not going to have access to that either. But that's just a technology problem.
But those codes, the code exists, right? The software exists, but what it renders is still very much an abstraction. Like I don't think the brain. I mean, I've had people argue that the mind is physical. I just don't see it. I think it's a different property altogether.
I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I really think this is just a technology problem. I think there's no reason you wouldn't. I mean, think about all the. Well, I don't see any reason you wouldn't eventually get to the point where you could interpret somebody else's thoughts. I mean, we already do that to some extent with some software or some hardware software interfaces.
That's just kind of reading the electrical impulses from different parts of the brain, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
but you think you're a materialist, right? So you think everything's material.
I guess I don't understand that. I always hear people say I'm a this materialist, but I'm not a that materialist. I don't know the difference between those two.
Well, like a substance dualist would be a person who believes that the brain and the mind are very different substances.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a materialist in that, but I always hear Matt Dillahunty saying that he's I'm a this materialist, but I'm definitely not a that materialist, and then Somebody accuses him of it's two different types of materialists,
Well, I know,
whatever that is.
I know he's a methodological naturalist. He's not an ontological.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Sorry, that's what it is.
I think that's what you mean. He's a methodological naturalist. He's not an ontological or philosophical naturalist. He's a methodological. And I'm the same. And I'm in the same position as him. I'm a methodological naturalist as well. In fact, it's funny. Is Matt and I agree on a lot of things. He's just too arrogant to admit it. And so that's why he shuts me out because it's so funny because of the whole agnostic atheist thing. I'm willing to bet money that it was my arguments that convinced him otherwise, that it was nonsensical. Because he would say, years ago he was an agnostic atheist. He doesn't use that argument anymore. He actually says it's wrong. And I guarantee it, at some point in time, somebody told him about the same arguments I used. They just didn't say they were from me.
He's not going to say.
Yeah, no, I've had that conversation with certain people. They said, hey, look, if we told him that it was from you, it wouldn't go very well, right? So he'd be less receptive to it. But
I actually did a call on the atheist experience with the WASP argument.
I think I remember that. I think I heard that one.
Yeah, didn't they kick you out?
Yeah.
No, they didn't kick me out. Matt, I guess, wanted to condense it to a short period of time, but it got drawn out for like 30 minutes or more.
I guess I didn't see that.
Yeah, and I guess Matt was getting a little. Well, he had Jenna on, so both of them were there, and I guess Matt was getting a little flustered because I was like, "Yeah, Matt, no, that doesn't really make any sense." And
it makes perfect sense. And Jenna Bilk blocked me for some strange reason. I have no idea.
She kicked me out of her Facebook group.
Yeah, she went nuts on people after she pronoun whatever debacle, but she's so just all over the place anyways. But I always got along with Jenna Bilk, and all of a sudden I was real nice to her, and I was just like, hey, what do you want to be called as your pronoun? And she's just got all hurt with me, and it's just like, oh well, it's on my bio, didn't you read it? I'm like, no, bitch, I don't sit there and read everybody's bio, but I'm asking you nicely, what do you want me to fucking refer to you as? And she blocked me, and I was like, I ain't deal with this bullshit.
That was Steve McRae. You can reach him at the
right, exactly. I don't play these games, people. Don't sit there and play games with me. I have no time for it. Don't do that with me. I have zero fucking patience for people like that, because all they're doing at that point is weaponizing this shit, and I don't deal with that.
But that's the more accurate part of this whole thing is they all changed when this stuff just turned all weaponized.
Right, exactly. So and I don't play that fucking game, man. I'm cordial, I'm congenial, I'm gregarious, and I'm happy to fucking call you what you want me to call you, except certain things that I'm not going to go Z, Zi, Zim, Zoom, whatever. Yeah. But if I just have to use your name, that's fine. But I'm not going to misgender somebody. But I'm not going to sit there and have 50,000 different names for genders. So. Yeah.
Oh, it's coming back to me right around the end of that same call-in. Well, Jenna basically described herself as an agnostic atheist. I was like, yeah, agnostic is this, Nathan is this, so it sounds weird. And Matt was like, well, hang on. So Steve's not entirely wrong. Agnostic atheist, that particular combination is garbage.
Right. And he has said that verbatim to not just to Jenna Belk, but he's also said it to Anthony Bosco and to me. I asked him that question directly last time I was on my channel. Somebody's asking, Philip, the guy that hates you pipeline, is asking what agnostic atheist means. I have no freaking idea. This is why I've written about it extensively. It is ambiguous. It's supposed to represent somebody who does not believe God exists and does not know God exists, but there's so many different epistemic issues with that. It's like somebody butchering basic maths. It makes no freaking sense. First of all, if you lack a belief in God, you cannot know God exists because knowledge is a subset of belief, and even Matt recognizes that. So it would make if you say you lack a belief God exists, then you cannot make a claim to knowledge anyway. So it's redundant to add agnostic, and that's the case, right? So in that particular case, agnostic atheist would be at the best redundant, but I would also add it's nonsensical, because in order to even modify with an epistemic modifier of Gnostic or agnostic, you have to have belief first. And if they're arguing atheism is merely a lack of belief, you have nothing to modify. That object cannot be modified epistemically. It can only be modified if you have the belief God does not exist, and then you can go to, and I also know God does not exist. Then you have what they would call Gnostic atheism with a G. But that only works.
If you said it that way, Steve, if you just did what you did in the last minute, instead of the 3-hour versions that everybody
Right,
else
that's
tried to
what
sit
I
through,
say,
you would have convinced everybody a long time
Right,
ago.
I
Because
know, I know.
until 5 minutes, until a minute and a half ago, I'm still like, here comes Steve. He's going to have his, I don't want you using my definition that I don't like. And now when you said it that way, it all makes sense. And now I understand why you've been going
Yeah,
off on
no,
this.
and I get you.
But
I appreciate
shit
that.
is too long.
But that's why when I want to write the paper, I was even saying when I write my paper on it, I want it to be very succinct, and I'm just going to whittle it down to the bare bones, which is basically that. And by the way, that's what Matt tells people too. And I got to tell you, Matt's not wrong on that. And I'm not a big fan of Matt Dillahunty, but he's not wrong on it. But this is the funniest thing. He's using the same arguments I've used, and I know that people have told him my arguments, so that's why I know where he got them from, or I believe very strongly where he got them from. So
It's
but yeah, it's just agnostic atheist, and especially agnostic in the sense of does God exist has nothing to do with knowability, and they constantly get that wrong. If I'm asking you, does God exist? I'm not asking you what you know. I'm not asking you if you think gods are knowable. I'm not asking you about your knowledge. I'm not saying anything other than what is your position on God's existence? Do you believe God exists? Right? And if you say yes, you're a theist. If you say no, then you're neither an atheist or agnostic. I don't know which. But if you say no, you're an atheist. That's right. If does God exist? If you say yes, you're a theist. You say no, you're an atheist. And then you have no position either way. You're agnostic. There you go.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, so I called into one of Darth Dawkins' shows one time. He never kicked me out. He never interrupted me or hung up on me. But he told me that So I guess I said something horrible about me, by the way, if that he didn't kick me out. But he
doesn't
said
mean
that
he doesn't think you're a threat.
he said that I'm just wrong, that I can't say that I don't know if the God exists or not. He said there's no way you can actually say I don't know on that question.
Because he's an idiot. Why couldn't you
well,
say?
I mean, he had the whole room saying that I can't. He said because it's a different type of question, so you're not allowed to say I don't know on that question.
He's an absolute moron. Yeah, no, I'm thinking about this.
I was only
and I have a blog entry.
I was only his
Well, hang on. I literally wrote a blog on this called something about ordinary doubt, about does I don't know answer the question. It is an indirect answer, but what you're saying when you say I don't know, you're not talking about epistemological knowledge. You're not talking about knowledge in the epistemic sense. What you're talking about is called ordinary doubt. What you're telling a person is I do not have the ability to answer directly yes or no. That's what you're telling them. That's what it connotes. So if I say, hey, Pipeline Audio, I'm looking outside right now, and there's a dog sitting over in the corner over there, and I say, what's your position on that? And you say, I don't have a belief either way. I'm like, so I'm like, does that dog exist? And you're like, I don't know. You're telling me you have no position either way on it. That's all you're telling me. Has nothing to do with knowledge. You're just saying, I don't know if there's a dog over there. Why? Because I am not sitting over there with you, and I have no idea what you're looking at. So I don't have a position on it. You're just agnostic on it.
The consensus agrees that that's a dog.
Well, I could be lying. Like right now, I'm lying. I'm being sophistic for a reason, obviously. My blinds are closed. I'm not saying it's jack shit outside. I totally made that up. So, but he has no way. He would have no way of giving me an information of what his position would be. So the only reasonable answer is I don't know. But that's not about knowledge. That's just about I don't know how to answer the question.
And he had to go do something, and so of course there's Tone Loc and J. Robin in there, and they're saying that I'm lying when I say I don't know about that. So now that's a whole different thing, because now they're saying they can read my mind.
But they all say you're lying because you know God exists, because you're denying Him in unrighteousness. Romans 1.
Oh, 18, is that why they're saying that?
Romans 1:18-21, dude. So yeah, of course.
Darth Dawkins is a presuppositionalist, and presuppositionalists tend to, particular presuppositionalists take that particular passage way out of context. I think Randall Rosser actually did a very, he wrote in a book, he points out, just take that passage prima facie from that presupposition perspective. What's entailed with that hypothesis or that interpretation of the text is any Christian that has any doubt and where from minuscule to high, they're by definition suppressing the righteousness of God in their heart by the same logic.
Yeah. Suppressing the
So-
truth and unrighteousness,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's so funny. 'cause
Yeah,
I've had people tell me I know God exists, and I have people tell me I know
Yeah.
God does not exist. I'm like, do you understand these are very different, contradictory statements that if one is true, the other has to be false, or both can be false. Both cannot be true, though. They're contraries. They cannot. Both can be false, but both cannot be true. It's so funny. They're not even contradictions. They're actually called contraries. The reason being is because if I know God exists, then I cannot know God does not exist, right? And vice versa. One is true, the other one has to be false. They both cannot be true at the same time. However, they're called contraries because they both can be false at the same time. I can have neither the knowledge God exists nor knowledge that God does not exist. So that's an interesting thing right there. But at least if one of them is right, the other one has to be wrong, or they both can be wrong. And the answer is they're both wrong, clearly. So
Oh, I was only in Darth Dawkins' Discord server years ago for 5 minutes, and then he kicked me out.
yeah, he's scared to death of me because what Darth Dawkins does is he does have contradiction after contradiction. So anything that you say, he's just going to pick the other route. And so you can't get him on anything because he's like Jello on a wall. He'll argue 2 + 2 = 5 if he thinks he can out argue. Yeah, he's just an idiot. But tell me, Pipeline, why wouldn't that be a suitable answer? If you say, does God exist, and you say I don't know, it just means you're not saying anything about knowledge. You're just saying I don't have a position either way. Because a theist is going to say yes, right? Does God exist?
Well,
The theist says yes.
He said something about a worldview body double, and that because of the nature of the question, I can't say I don't know, because I'd be assuming the not God world, but using their worldview in order to do it. I don't know. It didn't make any sense. It sounded like gobbledygook to me. So, but then so does that substance dualism stuff. So I don't know. Sorry.
From what sense, it sounds like he's just parroting a side 10 Brugengate type presupposition.
Oh, absolutely.
That. Yeah, and basically in that framework, you can't know anything without the worldview.
Yeah, it's kind of like you mentioned Noam Chomsky earlier, but Noam Chomsky had a statement. It was called. He said something along the lines of colorless. It was colorless green ideas sleep furiously, and basically that is a sentence that is grammatically correct. The syntax is correct. But it semantically would be something that's nonsensical. It has no semantic content to it. It is absolutely nonsensical, right? If I say colorless green ideas sleep furiously, what is being conveyed there? Nothing. It has no semantic meaning to it. But it is syntactically correct. It is grammatically correct. Darth is like that too. He just spews out shit that sounds like it freaking makes sense, but it doesn't.
Yeah, we call that, a logic error, right? The computer will compile it and run it. It just won't do what you
garbage in, garbage
expected it to do.
I can write code that it's syntactically correct that the code's going to do something, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get shit that I want.
Yeah.
But that's just what it is with Darth.
Well, Maverick, if his position is unless you assume scripture, you can't know anything, bring this up. Well, actually, ask him this. Is it true that you need knowledge to understand scripture? Because if that's true, and you're also claiming you can't have any knowledge without assuming scripture, then you have a literal contradiction.
Well, that's circular.
Yeah. Let's see, what was it again? Because somebody else, he was kind of being a Poe about it, but it's still same way of thinking of particular presuppositions of that line of thought. Basically assume this approximate and absolute distinction of knowledge, but that is nonsense. Knowledge is knowledge. It's literally just believing things that are true.
Well, and justified.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything always seems to go back to this, so what is the ultimate foundation of what the rest upon the ultimate Omega something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
That's
such
what
a
Darwin
long
says.
list of Deepak Chopra
Yeah.
kind of.
Well, what he's trying to do is this. I mean, I know his game. I know it really actually very well. What he tries to do is this. He conflates terms. He confuses people. He uses gross fallacies. He even one time trying to argue that affirming the consequent was a logical.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, that was
But
brilliant.
remember, it's affirming the consequence.
Yeah, the consequence. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I remember that video that he was arguing that affirming the consequent was a logical real inference. And everybody's like, no. But yeah. So what he does is basically he uses the fact that most people pretty just never really thought about these things, and of course nobody has the right answers and knows everything about the mysteries of the universe. So he uses that to his advantage, and he says this. You don't have the ability to know anything because you can always be incorrect. But I know the maker and the creator of the universe, and that creator of the universe knows everything. And by him verifying what I know to be the truth, I can therefore say I have epistemic grounding to know something. It's complete bullshit, but that's his line of argumentation in a nutshell. Because he knows somebody that knows something. Not because, if you ask him, well, how do you have direct access to God's knowledge? Let's assume God is all knowing and he knows all possible facts and all possible propositions that are true. How does he impart them to you in a way that you would apprehend them without loss? How would you make sure that you got that information correct? How does he tell you these things? I just basically I know because God tells me. It's like what?
That right there, just catch him on that.
I have. This was ages ago, but I mean, he's had people ask him on that before.
Yeah, he's not going to show up anywhere Steve's at though.
Oh fuck no, he knows doing that shit. He won't. He's never been on my channel.
Yeah, just grant him that for argument's sake. What's entailed in that is whatever Darth Dawkins says about anything, he has to get it right every single time. Just getting it wrong once, that just
But he's wrong on
causes a
everything.
problem.
But here's the thing.
Exactly.
I swear to God, I have never said Darth Dawkins can't come on my channel. I've never banned him. He has never, in 8 years now that he's been around from Pow Talk, never been on my channel. I've been on his channel. I've been on channels with him. But he has never manned up and came on this channel to have a direct discussion with me on his presuppositional nightmare. It's just bullshit. It's just complete rhetoric. And I would have
you guys had Sai, right? You had Sai before?
I just talked to Sai the other day. I actually get along with Sai very well.
Not Sai Guard, but Sai
I'm talking
10,
about Sai
right?
10
You had Sai
Bernadette.
10?
Yeah. I get along with Sai 10 Bernadette very well. Yeah, he'll be back on Sequitur. I don't know what it is about Sai 10 Bernadette. I just happen to like the guy for some reason. I don't know. He's so wrong about everything. I mean,
he can be snarky and stuff, but he's not a dick. You know, that's the
right?
difference, right?
And when he is snarky,
He's
he can be a
just
dick.
goofy.
But yeah, but there's just something about Sai 10 Bernadette I happen to like, which is funny because when I first heard about him and he was doing his debate with Matt Dillahunty, I was like, damn, this dude has gotten some shit wrong. And, you know, I never thought in a million years I'd happen to like the guy. But we got to know each other, and we've been friends for a very long time now.
Yeah.
I'm a theist now. Wait, Philip says, "Oh my God, I used to like you, Steve, before your shit was stolen. Didn't you? You're a weird ass theist. I'm not a theist. I don't believe in God. What God do I believe in? Yeah, I'm agnostic. I don't believe in any God. I'm literally the holy pope of agnosticism. Yeah, what God do I believe in?
Yeah, that's the thing. Sai and Darth Dawkins, they're pulling the Bonson presuppositionalism. I have Bonson's work on presuppositional apologetics. I just put it down literally after the first two pages.
Yeah, well, Bonson's position on presuppositional argumentation was basically to shut the mouth of the non-believer.
Well, yeah,
agnostic is not the same thing. Wait, hang on. Philip's go ahead.
What are you talking about? You got to get him on here, man.
Yeah, Philip, come join. I know what the hell you're talking about. I don't think people understand what agnostic means. And I've literally proven using logic that lack of belief atheism is logically agnostic. They're the same position. There is no difference. When you say, I'm a lack of belief atheist, I just lack of belief, you're literally saying to a philosopher, by their uses of terms, that you're agnostic if you have no positive epistemic status. I've literally proven this using logic and a formal paper that I wrote that nobody has assailed otherwise. Weak atheism, weak theism, and agnosticism are the same logical position. So,
hey, I got to go help my cousin with the sample rate issue thing. They're supposed to get something on the radio by Friday, so
90,
I got to go.
96K audio, right?
No, that was 2000. We all tried
shit.
it, but I'm back to 48K or 44.1 or whatever.
Are you?
But yeah. Oh man, I would love. I'll tell you what, man. I like the skepticism and myth busting stuff. I would love to get on here with some of these Tonewood believers, or back when the JREF was around, we used to test like speaker cables and crazy stuff like that. With these, I mean, you think religion's nuts? You got to meet an audiophile or a guitar player. They're crazy,
dude. I was literally a manager for Circuit City selling Monster Cable.
Oh,
so I understand. And I will argue to you on this, because look, I do believe very strongly that certain high-end cables, you do have far less dB loss, and you don't trim the high end. But I mean, for most people's audio requirements, you can get away with a decent cable and not have to spend $200 for a cable. But there are some cheaper cables that are made in China that you are going to have loss. You do.
And that almost sunk. That almost cost the JREF their million if they would have gone through with this, because the way they worded it was that the cables couldn't be any difference. And I'm like, look, dude, I can make a cable that'll sound like crap, and I'd be able to pick it every single time. I could throw a diode in a cable or something. I mean, it's something that simple. But to me, what I say is that anything that is going to make a difference, you could measure it. And if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist.
Well, but on the auto cables that I used to sell, they were measurable differences, and there were tonal differences too. I mean, you can hear, especially on the high pitch and the bass, low bass, but mostly on the high pitch. The better cables tend to have higher fidelity on the higher ends, mostly because of the skin effect. And so, when you start using conductive cables that are going to be a lot more connectivity, a lot more square, what's called the cross section, the braid on it, the shielding. A lot of that it goes into those cables. So, yeah, I do believe that the better made cables are going to sell better to an audiophile, but I also believe that you're talking to about a very, very small group of people that can actually hear those types of differences. And of course, you have to have the music that could have that range.
But 99% of it is complete bunk, like throwing Shakti stones in your room,
that's crap.
Cable lifts, or the last foot of power cable after the 10,000 miles that came from the power plant.
Right.
It's going to make any difference in your.
No, I totally agree with you.
I was on a big recording channel show with
those stones were
Ethan
funny.
Winder, who was like the James Randi of audio, and we were just busted up on this stuff. Is hilarious, but I'm trying to do some more of those. But man, I would love to get a Tonewood guy on.
Oh, I don't know anybody that would go on that, but that would be hilarious, because those.
Oh, there's billions of them. There's billions.
Really?
Of
I don't.
them.
Again, a lot of communities I just don't get into and shit. But
go to any guitar forum and you're going to meet people who believe the craziest shit, like make audiophiles look sane.
I have a guitar though. I play Metallica a little bit.
Well, I got guitars all over this freaking room, man. But I know that an electric guitar pickup is like an alternator in a car. It turns motion into energy.
It's mechanical. It's mechanical to electrical. It basically
it's not infused with magical unobtainium noxium, whatever.
The better pickups you have, the better your coil, the closer to the string. I mean,
because the pickup is a motor. I mean, but
electromechanical. Sure.
I'm telling you, they think that there's all kinds of crap that they think that goes into this that makes something else, and it's all measurable, and we've measured it a million times.
I believe you. I'm on board with that. I just don't know anybody that I would like to meet some of these people that are.
There's so many. You crack up. I mean, you die because they. I mean, you've seen Nephilim Free before, right?
Oh, dude, I'm the one that helped Nephilim get back on the internet.
Okay.
Because I was nice to him, and I was like, "Oh my God, you still have to." I remember real quick, not to rail this, but whatever. But remember when the YouTube changed everything, and people had to use streaming software program like OBS and things of that nature. He couldn't figure it out. So like a year later, I'm like, and I go back with Nephi a very long time, and I'm like, fine. I was like, Nephi, I will spend an hour with you and explain to you how to stream again. And now he's back streaming again. But so yes, you can blame me, because I mean, Nephi's like a poor lost puppy,
So there's a couple guys that everybody listens to that you would think it was him. It's same style of argumentation, same logic, same same voice, and it's just it's amazing. Like it's entire companies live or die over what a couple of these guys say, and it's hilarious. But yeah, I gotta go help this guy. Hopefully, you can
that's
get Philip on there, and he'll tell you why you're a religious.
Yeah, no,
lunatic.
I'm gonna end it with him real quick. Pipeline, I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, cool. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course, buddy. All right, so
All right, see ya.
Philip, I don't know what he's talking about though. Phillips just says all of them. I don't know, but Phillips says there's no such thing as a non-theist. Well, logic would actually dictate that it would be wrong on that, because if you have theist, you have non-theist, because A or not A is always true. That's a tautology. It's a law of negation. So if you instantiate A with theist, you end up with theist or not theist is always true, which is, again, a tautology. So if you have theist, then you have not theist. So I don't know what he means by not. There's no such thing as non-theism. A non-theist literally is somebody who does not believe in God. It is an umbrella term. It is an umbrella term for terms like agnostic, atheist, ichtheist. I would say theological non-cognitivist. However, personally, I have an issue with that, but it's a little bit technical. But if you really want to like not go in the nuance, then theological cognitivism would fall under non-theism. But to a theological cognitivist, that wouldn't make any sense. Can you tell me why? Anybody tell me why? No, it's technical. But yeah, to a theological cognitivist, non-theist would not make any sense. But whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, agnostic is impossible. I don't even know how is that impossible.
Philip, get in here and justify.
So basically, saying lack of belief is impossible. Why do you have to believe in something? I do not believe there's a God. Well, that's impossible. I don't get it. So any proposition you have to have a direct belief on. I mean, agnostic is an indirect belief. Yes, it's a belief about a belief, but I don't believe there's a God. So why is that impossible? This is weird when I see conversations like this. I don't know what to make of them. But hey, late night, right? I mean, late night.
Yeah, Philip, come on in, man.
This is what I guess maybe I should do more of these things late at night, because you never know what the hell you're going to get. Obviously, right?
Is he saying unbelief in a God is impossible?
Atheism is lack of belief. Well, theism is lack of belief too. Theism is lack of belief God does not exist. Atheism, theism. If you lack of belief, think about this. Theist lack of belief God does not exist, right? So if you say atheism is lack of beliefs? Well, theism and lack of belief that God does not exist. They're both lack of belief. Both are also beliefs, though. Theism is the belief that God does not exist, which entails a lack of belief God does not exist. Atheism is the belief God exists, which entails a lack of belief. So there's a relationship there.
But Steve, you can't prove a negative.
What does that mean? What does that mean by agnosticism is cowardly? That's just agnosticism is a position you have no position either way. It basically is that I believe I don't have sufficient justification to believe either way. I do not believe there's a God. And I don't believe there isn't a God. That's called agnostic. I don't know why that's a cowardly position. That's a very agnostic is not a belief either. But no, atheism is a belief. Atheism is a belief that God does not exist. But even if you don't subscribe to that, it's irrelevant. If you hold atheism as a lack of belief, you're just saying atheism is the same as agnostic. They're the same position to you. No, I'm agnostic. This is not confused. This is so confusing to some people. I don't know why. I don't hold the belief there is no God. Agnosticism is traditionally known as a position of somebody who does not believe there's a God and does not believe there isn't a God. This is philosophy we're talking about, not the atheist experience who don't know what the hell they're talking about. We talk about actual philosophy here, actual like academic level stuff, so.
Yeah, there's belief, disbelief, and suspensive judgment.
No, you're saying agnosticism is atheism. No, agnostic is not the same as atheist. You have non-theism, and in non-theism, you have atheism, which do not believe God exists, because they believe God doesn't, and the agnostic that has no position either way. Both agnostic and atheist are non-theist. They are not the same position. How is Gnostic impossible? It just means I don't have a belief either way. What's impossible about that? I don't believe God exists. I don't believe God does not exist. But I'm not an
Philip,
atheist.
you're begging the question.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I mean, he thinks he's making sense, and he's just not. It's weird. Hang on. Here you go. Wait, hang on. Philip, here you go. Philip, here you go. Read this very carefully. Take your time. It's not long. It's one sentence long from the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy, which is peer review. There you go. Agnosticism is traditionally characterized as neither believing that God exists nor believing that God does not exist. That is my position. That's not atheism in philosophy. That's considered agnosticism traditionally. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you do not believe in any God, there's no necessary entailment. There's no logic that says you must be an atheist. Nothing in philosophy that says that. Absolutely nothing. There's no logical argument that you can make that I've ever seen to make that argument. I've literally shown in first principles in logic it doesn't make sense to do it that way, because you're just doing a semantic substitution. But logically, you have theist and you have not theist. You have atheist or not the atheist. You have agnostic and non agnostic. Those are three distinctly different logical positions. 6 to be exact, because you have the negations of each other. And if you go read Dr. Demi's work, he actually has all these logically, shown. So Philip, I would recommend just maybe going to look at philosophy a little bit, because, again, we don't go by the atheist community of Austin. They're a bunch of idiots over there. The atheist experience is just, yeah, it's basically, well, more the atheist woke of Austin, but whatever. Philip, one last time, how is agnostic not real? It is somebody who has no position on the proposition. I don't believe P and I don't believe not P. How is that not real? If I go back to the whole gumballs thing, if I have a gumball machine and you assume they're quantized, that they're whole gumballs and they're either even or odd, there's no possible other thing they could be. Either they're even or they're not even, and not even happens to be odd. And I ask you, are they even or odd? The only rational explanation or answer you can have, because you have no justification either way, is you're agnostic. You have no. If I say the proposition they're even, you say I don't believe that. If I say the proposition is odd, you say I don't believe that. Why? Because you don't believe it's even. You don't believe it's odd. Why? Because you have no information either way. You're agnostic on it. There you go.
Okay, another way to point it, the flip of a coin, either heads or tails. There is no middle ground. True or false, Philip?
There's no middle ground on a fair coin. It's either heads or not heads. Not heads would be tails. But if you believe heads or believe tails, there's middle ground there, right? Because I can believe, if you say, do you believe it's going to be heads? I go, no. Do you believe it's going to be tails? I'm like, no. Why? I have no belief either way. I don't have any position on when it's going to land. I don't believe either. I don't have no idea even to formulate a belief. It's just undecided for me what it's going to be, because it's 50-50. All right. I mean, if you really want to put it mildly, it's more, you're just giving it a guess, right? If you say flip a coin, what do you believe it's going to be? You're not really giving your belief. You're giving a guess. You don't really believe it's going to be heads, really, because you have no justification for it. And if you do, it's just by fiat. It's just by, unjustified reasoning. Because why would you believe it's heads over anything else? You have no reason for it. It's unjustified. I'm not saying it's irrational. It's not irrational, but it's certainly not justified.
It's basically assuming the conclusion, but not giving justifiable reasons.
Yeah, but what reason would you have to believe a coin would be heads over tails if it's fair 50-50? You don't. Agnostic means you neither believe God exists nor believe that God does not exist. That's agnostic. That's not atheism. In philosophy, typically speaking, under the more standard understanding of these topics, does not believe. Kawhi says he's confusing not believe with disbelieve. Well, those are different things. Disbelieve means to believe in negation in logic. If I say I disbelieve P, that means I believe P is false. Which, again, Matt Dillahunty did not understand. He got that wrong. That's not atheism. Not in the academic sense. Not in the philosophical sense. Show me anywhere that is not the case. Like I said, Philip, go read some academic papers. Go read Dr. Draper. Go read Malik. Go read Oppie. Go read Burgess Jackson. Go read Draper. And I would recommend go reading Friedman. She wrote a paper, Jane Friedman from New York University, called Suspending Judgment. That's really good. And go read Demi. But all of them would disagree with you there. So this is basic philosophy, like philosophy 101.
Even further, pick up a book on contemporary epistemology.
Yeah.
It clearly lays out the 3 doxastic attitudes towards propositions.
Correct.
And
Belief, disbelief, and suspend judgment are the 3 doxastic. I'm not wrong on this. I guarantee it. I've literally been explaining this stuff for years, and everybody in my live chat knows this stuff pretty well. So my thing to you, Philip, would be, if I'm wrong, great, prove it. Give me evidence. Show me that I'm wrong, because it's one of those things. Is like, if you don't know it, you can't show you don't know it. You're clearly wrong in the academic sense, because I have multitude of evidence I can show you. But you're making a claim I'm wrong. I've already showed my evidence in my blog. I've explained this multiple times, but go ahead, show me I'm wrong. I'll wait. What you got?
come on, Philip, show the evidence.
Show us the evidence, because every single solitary peer-reviewed paper that I've read disagrees with you, unless an opinion piece. Opinion pieces don't count. Go ahead, show that's wrong. Yeah. I've shown you that I've literally have blogs on this. I mean, here, I just shown you. There we go. Agnosticism, traditionally characterized as neither believing that God exists nor believing that God does not exist. That's from the Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Now, Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy says something very similar. Let's look what Stanford says. This is Stanford, and it says, let me find it real quick, because I got to scroll down here.
Okay, Philip, show me. Okay, now what you're doing is shifting the burden of proof. And
Has nothing to do with shifting the burden of proof. That's a dishonest take. That's what Stanford says. It has absolutely doing nothing with shifting the burden of proof, because I've literally just met my burden twice by giving you 2 peer-reviewed citations. I'm not shifting anything. I've given you 2 citations. Now you have the burden to show those citations are wrong. That's not shifting the burden.
Philip, he literally showed you the evidence.
Yeah, he says, show me the data. There you go. Stanford. An agnostic is a person who has entertained the position that there is a God, but believes neither that it is true nor that it is false. So, anyways, Philip, do you have anything that can refute that?
More importantly, Philip, do you have any evidence that agnosticism is impossible and agnostics are atheists?
Anything. What you got?
Show us the evidence.
Anything? Philip? Nothing? I don't think he has anything.
And to invoke Hitchens' razor, what can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
Yeah, I mean, I got some issues with that razor, but for the general usage, it's fine. I've actually used it myself, but
I just use it to troll people.
Sure, look up the definition of atheist. Atheist, a person who believes there's no God. That's what I'm looking at. Right, Merriam-Webster. It's Merriam-Webster. Here, I'll give you the link. You say look it up the dictionary. Okay, well, here's Merriam-Webster right here. Yeah, argumenting about dictionary is a fallacy, but if you want to look it up, it says atheist comes from the Greek. Well, you told me to look it up. I'm looking it up. There you go. Atheist comes from the Greek, from a meaning not or without, and theos meaning God. In English, it simply means a person who believes that God does not exist. So there's 3 sources for you.
Even further from Stanford, atheism is defined in terms of theism. Atheism is theism with a prefix alpha primitive that is a negation. Now, with that in mind, theism is the proposition a God exists. Atheism with the Greek alpha primitive prefix as a negation is by definition the proposition no gods exist.
Yeah, and the Cambridge Dictionary of Philosophy, atheism is the view there is no God. IEP says atheism is the view there is no God. What is atheism? Atheism is the view there is no God, from Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. So all these different sites seem to disagree with the other, buddy. Yeah. No, I know, Frida. Yeah. So Philip, all these academic citations show that you're wrong. And there's a lot more complexity to it because he's not understanding descriptive versus prescriptive, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, so this is how it is in academia and philosophy. I've given you all the evidence. I've shown that you're incorrect. Where do you want to go with that? What is atheism? Atheism is the view there is no God. I'm literally showing it on the screen right now to people. This is the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Here's Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. I know probably the outside's having a hard time seeing it, but whatever. I did actually look it up. So, Philip, do you maybe want to go read about this a little bit more before you try to say I'm wrong about something that I'm clearly not? Because this is kind of my jam. I literally spent a lot of time explaining atheology to people. No difference between agnostic and atheism. Well, then you're wrong. All right. So, anyways, now you're trolling, Philip, because again, every citation I gave you says otherwise. You have no evidence. What Amir said is the case here. What could be presented without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So you're dismissed on that claim. You're dismissed. You're not. One thing is funny is I'm not even just dismissing his claim. I'm dismissing his claim and saying his claim is wrong because of my evidence. Maybe don't call someone smarter. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, yeah. That's so. Anyways, that was fun. You got anything you want to wrap up with, man?
Yeah. Anybody claims that agnosticism and atheism are the same. Always ask them present the actual evidence. I.e., what gives that claim justification to be true. It ain't gonna happen without any sort of fallacious reasoning, or without begging the question.
Every single time, without fail. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I'm starving. Thanks for joining me tonight, guys. This was fun. Yeah, I think I might do this, like I said, maybe once every couple weeks. I am gonna be streaming on Wednesday on this channel. I gotta start putting some stuff on the Great Debate Community channel as well because I don't want to have that demonetized, even though I only make like $1 a year off of it. It's a principal thing. So maybe I'll stream on that. And then Monday, looking forward to Monday, because Monday I got Reds Rhetoric on the Non Sequitur show. And Master Apologist Josh Brister is going to come on and convince Reds Rhetoric live why he should become a Christian again. I mean, what could go wrong there? So with that, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate all you guys that stick around, all you guys that do watch, even though it's late at night. It wasn't like anything of any consequence, but these late night hangs are kind of fun, I think. Don't you think? Anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. But I am going to go. I'm going to end this StreamYards. And once again, thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you later. Good night.
Peace.